Not too long ago, in the brain of an unknown genius, far, far superior, a unique idea was born. It was called Bitcoin. It was to take the world by storm. There is a place, a special place. Here another groundbreaking idea was born. It was called Ethereum. Out of this, a unique ecosystem emerged. The Crypto Valley. Welcome to the very heart of it. Welcome to Zug. Welcome to the Blockchain Summit.
This is fantastic, full house, 600 people in this room, which is phenomenal. We are going on live stream, which means we have even more people online. Guys, can we put our hands together for Blockchain Summit 2017? Come on! All right. So, my name is Daniel Ramamworthy. None of you can say it. Therefore, I've shortened it to Dan Ram. So if you see me and you're like, hey, connect me with that investor, connect me with a startup, just go Dan Ram, connect me with such and such a person. Because that is what I'm here to do. I'm not here for the speakers. I'm not here for the stage. I'm not here for the epic red shoes. I am here for you guys to make sure you have a fantastic day ahead. I'm really excited about today. We've got great speakers. We've got great competition. We got a jury. We have so much action packed into such a little amount of time. But first of all, who here is from Zug? Raise your hand. Hey, nice. Who here is from Switzerland? Raise your hand. Whoa, a lot of you. Who's not from Switzerland? Raise your hand. All right, on the count of 3, I want you to yell where you're from. Really loud, okay? 1, 2, 3. You're all very welcome. So, I am not from Switzerland. It's my first time in beautiful Zug. I was staring at that lake and I was like, this is beautiful. But I'm gonna try something. En gute Nomitok miteinander. Hey! Is that okay? Is that okay? Excellent stuff. Guys, I am not the creator and founder of this event, but you're very welcome here. Can we please welcome up the initiators of Blockchain Summit 2017? Please put your hands together for them. Come on. Come on. All right. So, let me tell you why these fine gentlemen are here. Their exclusive purpose for creating this event, their exclusive purpose for being here is to make this memorable, impactful, and valuable to you guys. So if you see them, take a good look at their faces, and you see them walking around during the tea breaks and the coffee breaks, stop them and say, hey, can you introduce me to so-and-so? Can you help me with such and such? Because that's why these guys are here. So this fella and I met about a month and a half ago at Oktoberfest. That is, yeah, I know. And he looked just as good then, even after a couple pints. But real quick, just because I know you, sir, what is one thing that you are looking forward to today? Think of your answers. One thing, because you guys know what's happening today. One thing that you're looking forward to today?
We are committed to developing the Crypto Valley ecosystem. We want to bring the mindset global. So whoever wants to be part of that, come to us.
All right. Marco, what are you looking for? What are you excited about today?
To have the best event Zug has ever seen. Amazing.
And yes, sir, Rolf.
And bringing the world to Switzerland.
Bring the world to I heard someone yell Canada extra long, so Canada too is welcome to Switzerland. Guys, can we put a hand together for the initiators, please? Thank you. All right, next up, he is the father of 2. He also happens to be the president of this beautiful Theater Casino Foundation. He also, for those of you who are from Zug, happens to be the mayor of Zug for the last over a decade or so. Please put your hands together for Dolphy Mueller, please. All right.
I say grüezi here in Zug. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, grüezi in Zug. Sorry, I need this paper thing a little bit. It's my English. It's a pleasure for me to welcome you here at the Zug Casino. 2 months ago, we celebrated the reopening of this wonderful place. It's called Casino, but it's our house of culture. This house was built more than 100 years ago. It was a time where Zug people had no money, but plenty of good ideas and the will to do something. Zug's economic takeoff happened in the 60 years ago because our fathers created a special tax law expecting globalization to come. It was a real political innovation. Today, innovation is more necessary than before. That's why Zug town accepts bitcoins. Not yet for tax paying, but for certain fees. How could this happen? I think in the year 2013, a fairly small flying saucer called Crypto Valley landed in the quiet pre-alpine region of Zug. They brought us the blockchain. First, we did not react at all. Swiss people usually don't eat what they not really know. 2 years later, everything takes time in Zug city administration. The city council became more and more curious what these people are doing here. That's why we invited a student explaining the difference between bitcoins and blockchain. In fact, we didn't understand everything. Nevertheless, we decided to accept Bitcoin for certain services of Zug city administration. It was just the decision of 5 politicians. We didn't ask our experts. The reaction was huge and surprising. Maybe, in a way, we have touched the nerve of our time. We from the cantonal and the city administration played just the background music. The front men and women are the people from Crypto Valley Association, the founders of different startups, innovative lawyers, and scientists from the universities in the surroundings, and especially the guys from Lakeside Partners and Inacta who made this blockchain competition possible. Thanks for that and congratulations. I'm sure they invest everything they have for such moments, and they do it because they have a mission. Such people create the energy we need in our small town of Zug, with only 30,000 inhabitants, but more than 40,000 very well diversified working places. More and more, we also notice the additional economic impact of Crypto Valley. Zug people come from everywhere. There are about 125 nations living here, many talents from all over the world. I do not exaggerate when I say Zug people is open-minded and curious about future. Surprisingly, our Bitcoin adventure had a real impact on the mindset of our city and of our city administration. That's why we did not hesitate to take part in another interesting project about a self-driving small bus in the streets of our town. Today it's too early, don't expect that bus, but he will come soon. And since November 15, we are online with the Zug digital ID based on blockchain. We know it's a worldwide net, but we have to convince also local people. If we can create interesting use cases, this may become a success also for the daily life of common people in Zug. It's time to finish. I think we made 3 very important learnings in this time. Let's just do it with trial and error. And so the learning begins and it goes on. This mindset has worked in the last months, and I'm sure it will work in future. Thank you very much for coming here, and thanks to the people from Lakeside and Inocta, which made all this possible. Thank you very much.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you can have a seat. It's really key in an ecosystem to have supporters in the political space, people who from government represent and also pursue innovation. Speaking of which, we're actually going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take seat number 1 over here, but we're going to invite 5 guests to talk about what makes Crypto Valley. So first off, you've already seen this guy. His name is Mathias. He's a managing partner at Lakeside Partners. He spent the last 20 years investing. Before that, he was a TV producer. Guys, put our hands together for Mathias, please. Have a seat. Next up, she's often referred to as Miss Bitcoin Switzerland. She's the CEO of SmartValor. She organized a ICO summit only a few months ago. It is Olga. Please put her hands together for Olga Feldmeier, please. Can I have a seat over there? She's named one of the top 100 digital shapers, a former Goldman Sachs trader, CEO and founder of Melonport. Please for Mona Elisa. Welcome. This next guy is one of the most notorious jury members, which you'll see later. He's wearing a fascinating bow tie today. His name, actually I'll tell you before that, he's the Vice President of Crypto Valley Association and the Vice President of Tech Strategy at Luxoft. Put your hands together for Vasiliy, please. I told you about the bow tie, didn't I? It is a nice bow tie. And finally, we have the Managing Director of Digital Switzerland. He's also chairman and co-founder of Movu, which is a Swiss startup that many of you will know. Put your hands together, please, for Nicolas Bürer. Okay. So, here's the situation. We're going to talk about what makes a crypto valley. So, opening question to you guys. You're all mic'd up. Rapid fire round. 1-word answers. What do you think is the most ingredient pillar or, most important ingredient for a successful crypto valley ecosystem? We'll start with you.
Okay. I'll go with talent. Great projects.
Okay. Talent?
I would say it's regulation, right? A lot of, some companies came because of the hope that it will happen here, and it happened.
Okay, excellent.
I will say the community. It's a great community.
Okay.
Well, absolutely. I think it's great networking and willingness to cooperate and experiment.
Okay.
Definitely.
And the last one, promotion abroad. We need to be more Americans.
You need to be more American.
Like American.
Wow, I'm actually not American. I'm Indian, but I do talk with American accent, so. All right, so what do you think is the greatest competitive advantage? So there's some amazing startups in the hall. There's some people who are from outside Switzerland. There are people who are watching, live streaming internationally. Why should they come here? What do they get here that they won't get in any other ecosystem? Any order. Whoever's got an answer first, go for it.
Well, maybe I will start. As let's say 3 years ago, there was not much here, right? Actually, the crypto valley was more like tax valley or hedge fund valley, but there wasn't much about Bitcoin, right? Back in 2015, we were the first 3 companies to create this notion of crypto valley, right? Yeah. And back then, basically a lot of, we came here because of the hope, that regulator and authorities will support us and that we will create an environment that enables us to run our business models here, right? Unfortunately, that hope realizes in certain regulatory framework. And I would say that today, there is no better place to be if you are in fintech, in blockchain-related businesses, because the regulatory framework is quite open, and this is for us, at SmartValor, we are basically a marketplace for tokenized investments. In a sense, it's kind of like a crypto bank, and there
So
is no better place to be.
I have more questions about regulatory framework, because obviously that's really key when you're talking about blockchain. So we're going to come back to that. But from the rest of you guys, what do you think is a competitive advantage? You were saying something the president was saying yesterday.
I think it's currently, if you look around the world, it's all about talents.
Yes.
And if you ask me, it's one of the hotspots in the world where there are the most talents in blockchain. Not enough, by far not enough talents, but more than in any other cities. So talents and the ecosystem, you need the lawyers, you need the experts, you need the people, you need the city, you need the canton who want to push the topic. So it's all about these key players. And right now, there is really a growing ecosystem right here.
And Nicolas, where's the talent coming from? Is it the universities here producing it? Is it that you're attracting and importing talent from around the world? Where's the talent coming from?
Learning by doing, I would say so far. It's one of our projects we're also pushing is having the Polytechnics of Switzerland new units for blockchain. We don't have it today. That's somewhere on the roadmap of them. That's why today, if you ask me, it's learning by doing, and it's not enough for sure.
I would just add to that. I think one of the areas of expertise Zug is maybe renowned for was maybe being the first to embrace the Ethereum Foundation and being the home to the Ethereum Foundation. And I think that was a huge project in itself from a legal perspective, figuring that out and finding a home for it here. And the government officials of Zug have been a huge supporter of the technology. And you heard from Mr. Dolphy Mueller, and on many levels they've embraced it and they've welcomed it and they've said we should not be afraid of change. And together with the legal expertise that I guess MME pioneered in blockchain technology and the government openness, we've attracted a lot of talent. We've gotten a lot of interest from students from ETH, University of Lucerne and Zurich. And together, when you put that together with companies like Lakeside and investors in the pot, then you start to build a really nice mix of ingredients to have this as a real hub.
So talking about investors and Lakeside, Mathias, what do you think is the competitive advantage for why people should move to Switzerland?
It is currently. I can maybe give you some background on what we are doing and what we're experiencing every day. So to give you an insight, a couple of months ago, that was early this year, the Swiss ambassador from Japan, he knocked on our doors in the morning at 8 o'clock, bringing a startup from Japan to the valley, and he basically wanted to set up shop at that day, so unannounced, right? Wow. And stuff like that happens quite frequently. So I would say we get around 100 requests per week from projects, people all over the globe that want to come to the crypto valley. And when it comes to the reason why they come here, I think if you look at an ecosystem and you reduce it to the three factors. If you have the talent, that's number one. Usually money follows, right? So you get the capital. We're quite good with that currently, I would say. And then you need an infrastructure that, this infrastructure means also service providers, lawyers, authorities, government, so that you can create a network effect. And, it also needs role models such as Ethereum, so people will follow. And that's exactly what happened. That's the competitive advantage we currently have. We have to be quite sure to not lose it because others are catching up.
Good. And if we have time, I want to ask where an area of growth could be, because every ecosystem has to grow and learn. We've got people representing Colorado, and I'm a big fan of what happens there. We've got people from Silicon Valley. We've got a lawyer from DC who's here, so we've got some good diversity today. But Vasiliy, going to you, talking specifically about blockchain, right. What are some of the diversity of applications for blockchain?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. I think it's really great. Right now, as Mathias said, we have a deluge of requests for ICOs and helping people doing ICOs. But ICOs is hopefully not the end game, right? Especially at Crypto Valley Association, we recently decided to put that together, is to address all kinds of future use cases, right? So I think, digital identity is a very big use case. And of course, Dolphy Mueller has already talked about it. I have, a phone in my pocket where I today confirmed my identity with the office. I have, UPort identity confirmed by Zug. This is a great thing, but there are other, technologies out there as well we're bringing to the Valley. We're looking at IoT use cases. You see some of the companies here that are doing great, IoT payment use cases. So we're seeing digital assets that Melonport is doing, that SmartValor is doing. And we have basically, if you look at ideas that people are coming up with, I think it's so fundamental that we embrace this, right? And we have all these multiple stakeholders to talk about, to discover it. So it's not about disrupting everything, optimizing, making it better. Explaining what technology can do, but then also solving technology problems, because there are big problems with technology, right? It's still at the beginning, and we need to work together to overcome it with ETH, EPFL, other guys, right?
So speaking of which, Mona, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about how do you bridge old technology and new technology? Because there's people here who are like, yes, let's do blockchain, but they work for companies or they're in institutions. They're like, well, I don't know, let's just watch a little bit. So how do you bridge between old and new technology?
So history, I guess, has showed us that technology often moves way faster than, than regulation, than guidelines, than everyone, can keep up with. And that's exactly what's happened in the case of blockchain as well. We've moved very far in terms of what the technology can do, what the technology can offer. We have apps going live. We have an easy way to raise money for those projects. And now the next step is we have applications which can potentially be extremely disruptive coming to a mainnet scenario from testing very soon. And what we're seeing now is, whereas a year ago people would dismiss the technology or not even want to hear about it, now we're hearing people, I think all of us on this panel are inundated with requests daily about the technology and can you help us with X, Y, Z, and you have to be really kind of discipline. So the next step, I think, is bridging the real world to the technology world, and how do we figure out regulation? And some of the recent moves in Crypto Valley have with the Crypto Valley Association being formed and taking a leadership role in terms of providing guidelines for ICOs and how they should be done in a more kind of compliant and sensible manner. We recently played a role in forming another association for asset managers, and Multi-Chain Asset Managers Association, which will take the role of providing guidelines for how can we automate technology regulation in asset management. And we hopefully will see more and more of these associations forming and really trying to bridge the gap between what could be a fantastic revolutionary technology, but kind of building it in a way that kind of works with the real world. And
super. And one of the words you mentioned there was regulation, and I saw Olga smiling over there, because Olga, this is one of the areas that you like to comment on. So tell us a little bit, because you can't talk about blockchain without talking about regulation, and it's one of the things that you guys have all mentioned is solid here. So what do startups and companies need to know as far as regulation goes?
I think, overall you need to understand, that what's going on here, right? I mean, Switzerland is one of the, still is one of the top banking centers, right? And has very knowledgeable regulator. It's it has prudent-based regulation, which doesn't aim at ruling all in very small details, but leaves the space open for innovation, for change, right? And on the other side, Switzerland is a leader in innovation, right? There are several rankings, very very famous one where Switzerland is always have been in the recent years one of the top 5 innovation leaders worldwide. So now the question, the blockchain comes, right? So how do we combine, this knowledgeable regulator, innovation lead, and this new technology?
Yeah.
You would say, of course it's there. Of course it will be possible, and you see it today, right? There are basically 2 use cases or two directions in which the whole, regulatory environment developing now. So one is like very concrete cases, like we had, this case for Bitcoin, for crypto asset custody, that was very successful last year. And now we have the whole scene of ICO, and why the companies that are doing ICO coming here, and how this whole space is going to develop, right? Yeah. And this is where I think it's very important that such events as here today are happening, and we are talking about it, because actually we as a people that going to influence the future of this regulation around blockchain-based crowdfunding, about future crypto finance business models, right? This is not something that is given. We need to work on it together with regulator, together with associations, with society, and this is what is possible here in Switzerland. It's not possible in many other countries, like you mentioned before.
Excellent. So, Nicolas, yesterday you said you were with the president of Switzerland, and there was a comment made about Switzerland being top 5 innovation. I'm hoping you'll take over and tell me exactly what was said.
Yeah, she said yesterday during the digital day, Switzerland will be top 5 nation for digital innovation and technology. Very nice.
Yeah.
But we cannot be number 5 or top 5 for everything. So that's my opinion. It's like Switzerland is now for chocolate, cheese, I don't know what. We should repeat the same in the next 5 years. So we should pick up or find out 3 to 5 topics and push them a lot.
So
and blockchain is, I think, one of them.
Okay, so I was just going to ask, like, in the next 5 years, what do you see on the horizon for Switzerland? So 5 years from now, we're having the same conversation. What do you think is going to be one of the strongest pillars here?
2 points. The first one, I hope there won't be 600 people, but maybe 6,000, I don't know, here, the growth. And the second one, I really hope, don't understand me wrong, Zug is going to be too small for blockchain, because it means that's a huge success here, and we have so many jobs, we have so many companies, and it grow all over the country. That's so the vision we will have in 5 years ahead. And for that, we know what we have to do. We need more talents, we need the political framework, we need to communicate abroad massively in the next years, when we need success stories, of course. ICOs and the success stories in the following years after the ICOs.
Final question, Mathias. I hear rumors that you're building an incubator, and I love incubators. I have attended incubators, I've spoken with them. But does the world really need another incubator?
Yes, who said that? Thank you. Yeah, the short answer is yes.
Yes.
This one it needs, right? As I told you, what we are setting up, you know, when we started to look into space 2 years ago, roughly 2 years ago, and we started with Switzerland, of course. So we looked at Crypto Valley, whole Switzerland, what was there. Of course, there was Ethereum. A few examples followed, but the rest of the initiatives, the people, you know, the teams, it was really scattered, not really coordinated. And from an investor's perspective, you know, when we want to invest into blockchain technology, we need to go one step before the startup stage and, you know, get into incubation. And that was a decision we took because we believe in blockchain technology. And so we launched 2 activities, and one is this one. It's called the Blockchain Competition and the Summit. That was number 1, and number 2 was the Crypto Valley Labs, which basically started because of a need for co-working space, you know, because the startups that came here wanted to set up shop and everything, they needed to go somewhere and work. So what we did is we rearranged part of our offices in order to give some open space for the startups. And then we looked, where could we go? And so what we are going to do with the Crypto Valley Labs is take this small working ecosystem that is called Crypto Valley, and we are trying to get this mindset out into the world. So we are going to deploy the hubs, the Crypto Valley Labs in cities all over the world, and we're going to tokenize this ecosystem. I'm not going to get into tokenizing and the system behind that, but what it basically does, it will make the ecosystem that we currently experience here available to the decentralized blockchain community all over the world. And that's why I think such an incubator is needed, because I think that, you know, one very successful ecosystem called Silicon Valley, that was just geographically limited to one area, right? And I think these days are gone. I think the next successful startup technology venture ecosystem will be a decentralized one, And it will be different jurisdictions, different territories that will be able to cater to the needs of the different projects. And we want to be part of that. And I think we could be the leader with Crypto Valley.
Heard that here first. So Silicon Valley, you're being taken on right now by Mathias. You're actually going to hear more about Crypto Valley Labs and the incubation co-working space when we get to the competition. But I want you to take a good look at all of these people, because during the tea break, they're going to be walking around, and I'd love for you to talk to them directly. That's why they show up. That's why they give this quick pitch to tell you, hey, we love talking on this topic, but take it there. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on the panel. Can we give them a hand, please? That's it. All right. You're welcome. All right, talking about tokenized and token-based economics and economies and all of that. The next person that we have coming up is a best-selling author of a book called The Business Blockchain. He's a former board advisor to Ethereum Foundation, which we were just talking about. He's currently the general partner of Virtual Capital Ventures. Guys, can we please put our hands together for William Mougayar? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Some of you know me as the author of The Business Blockchain. How many of you have a copy of my book? Ooh, yeah, not too bad, about half. Well, Christmas is coming, you know. I mean, and it's really good in quantities. So, I'm also the founder of the Token Summit, which is taking place in 2 weeks in San Francisco. And I'm mentioning this because there's a connection between Crypto Valley and Silicon Valley. And at the Token Summit in 2 weeks, for the first time, I've invited Oliver Busman to come in and talk to the summit, as well as Ralph. So for the first time, we're going to have Crypto Valley meeting Silicon Valley, so I'm very excited about that. So what if I told you that everything we've seen so far in terms of the tokens activity today is only part of the first generation of what we know? And what if I told you that everything that we've seen so far has only brought less benefits than what we will see in the future? That is really the theme of my talk. And it is not just about designing tokenomics, which is the economics behind tokens, but it's really about this new thing I'm calling Tokens 2.0 that we have to look forward towards. So first, let's start by defining what is tokenomics in the way that I like to think about it. It's really three things. It's how you design the role of your token. Everybody's focused on that. It's for the functionality of the token. What will it do? Number two is how will you distribute those tokens? And thirdly, because it's about money, it's about currency, is how will you govern the monetary policy behind your tokens? And all of you that are involved in some token projects and ICOs, I'm sure know about these. But the question is not whether you can answer them, but the question is, how well do you answer them? And that is going to be something we're going to dive into a little bit more in my talk. First, what is a very simple definition for a token? It's really a cryptocurrency with a purpose, with a special purpose. That is really a very basic definition. So here, all of you that came here, we could have given you a special token, let's say, that could only have three functions. It lets you into the conference, it lets you have coffee or tea, and it gave you entrance to this auditorium. So that's an example of a very special token. And what is that purpose? We have to think about the fact that the token itself is not the purpose. The token is just an enabler. And what's the purpose really? It's two things really. It's either creating an ecosystem. If you're a protocol, mostly, you have to create an ecosystem around your protocol. You have to have lots of developers that are using it. If you look at the Ethereum, for example, as a protocol, what is the strength of Ethereum? It's really all of the developers and the companies that are using it, both at the startup level and the enterprise level. And they have formed around themselves a very incredible ecosystem. And a lot of the protocols that are following it, whether they are vertical or horizontal protocols, they are after creating an ecosystem. If you're not a protocol, then what are you? You're an application, probably. And there, if the token is in the middle of your application, you have to create a new economy of sort. You have to create a private economy. There has to be a buying and a selling. There has to be some value creation. There has to be a creation and a consumption. So that is why it's important to get focused on the economics of what the token enables, not just having a token itself. And what we have done is giving tokens a utility, a function, and we can sum them up in 4 different buckets. It's either a right, it's an ownership. Fractional ownership is coming. It is not there yet totally widespread, but there will be lots of real estate, physical assets that will be fractionalized so that the liquidity is there with the ownership. It is something we don't have yet today. It could be a representative of a work where there is a reward, obviously, or it could be a currency. So let's dive further into this token 1 versus token 2.0. The problem I see today, when I take a very critical eye to a lot of the projects that I'm coming across with, and some that come through my inbox, is that many of them are trying to copy what we see as opposed to creating something that we don't see and inventing something new. And that is a very natural reaction to how things start in the beginning. And we have an analogy here because this is how the web started. I want to bring you back to the mid to late 90s and the early 2000s in the web. The first generation of the web applications, up until the crash of 2000, mostly we tried to just emulate what we saw. The innovation did not happen really until 2002 to 2004, when we started to exploit the two-way aspect of the web. The two-way meaning that there is a read and a write. The two-way meaning that users can generate content. And when users add content to a network, there is some network effect that happens. That was really something very unique to the web. And a lot of the best companies that we have today came along in the second generation of the web, what we called Web 2.0. I see the same thing is going to happen with the token projects. I'm not saying all of them are today tokens 1.0, but there are lots of them that are not going to pass the test. The acid test for tokens is, I like to ask, what would happen without a token? And it's not just a matter of telling me, yeah, we were doing it this way, now we're going to do it this way with the token. It has to be something that you need the blockchain for. You have to be really, really good at answering the question, which is, what is the blockchain enabling that was not possible before? I like to ask projects to give me a before and an after, and show me really how is the process being done today and how will it be done later. It is very important to be very critical, and not just to see what we see and copy it and try to invent. So this leads us to a more sophisticated definition for the token that I like to use. It's really about self-governance, right? It's really about the business model. Is the token going to enable your business model? Is it going to empower users to do something new? Are you sharing? Are you using decentralization? Are you sharing the rewards? Are you distributing them across the stakeholders? This is about decentralization, not centralization. If you are thinking about tokens, the token is not a carrot. I see that in a lot of proposals where they say, well, we're going to save some tokens and we're going to incentivize the users. And they'll come and then that's it. But the token is not a carrot. It's not a discount. It's like if I gave you a discount or a free coupon for a drink at a bar. Okay, it will get you into the bar the first time around. But if you don't like what you see, you may not return again. You may not even order a second drink. That is an incentive. There is no skin in the game. You're not sure that your user is going to come back. I see a lot of cases where the token is being used as a carrot, and that is not what is going to be sticky. The token must be native really to the blockchain for maximum leverage. It must be something that without it, the operation will not happen. The protocol cannot work. The application will not be enabled. If you really make the token as part and parcels of the technology that you are developing, then that is more valuable. If not, you're really back to zero, which is that you have to prove that the token is going to fit the market. There is a common term in the startup world which we use, which is product to market fit. And sometimes it takes a few years for startups to find their product to market fit via iterations, because everything is at the beginning a hypothesis. You think that this is going to do such and such and such, but you go to the market and the reality hits, and it doesn't work exactly like how you thought it was going to work in the white paper. So you have to iterate, because at the end of the day, everything is a startup today. People sometimes say, well, an open source project is not like a startup because everybody can contribute to the innovation. That's not correct. You have to prove that you are going to be fitting the market, that there are developers, there are users, there is going to be an ecosystem, there's going to be transactions behind what you are building. And that doesn't happen from day one. You have to iterate towards it. You have to be able to answer the following. To whom will the token be used? At what cost? With what benefits? Will it result in what valuable transactional activity? And if you cannot answer that very well, then you are missing the point. So how do you do that? Here are 4 elements that you can use that are really about using the blockchain native capabilities. First of all, there has to be a removal of a counterparty of some sort or an intermediary. The blockchain is really about this new trust platform. We had intermediaries before. We're not going to trust them anymore. We thought we needed them, the banks and others, or exchanges. And now we're going to do something new without who? Without what intermediary? Without what counterparty? If you cannot answer that question, then you are not doing something disruptive enough. You are not doing something that is significant enough in the blockchain world. Are you using the token as a reward, necessarily? Is there work being done? There has to be some work. There has to be somebody, either a computer, computational work, or a human has to do something valuable to earn a token. And it is not just showing up. It is not something that can be gained. It has to be very intrinsic, very native to the application. There has to be a decentralization of a process. Again, if you do the before and after. We used to do it this way. There were 5 parties in the middle. And now we're doing it this other way, and everybody is peer-to-peer. And then there is a topic of decentralized governance. How are you managing the future evolution of what you are doing? And that has to be a part of it. Reality check. When I look at a lot of the projects that come across my desk, my emails, and looking at the market overall right now, not just projects specifically, there is a disconnect between value and valuations, right? Who wouldn't agree with that? You go to coinmarketcap.com, and many of you, I'm sure, go there more than once per day. How many of you check it every 5 or 10 minutes, right? I'm sure, you don't have to admit it, but that's where we all go. What is the relationship between value and valuation? We're not sure yet that the models are there. We are not sure how to quantify, how to value these tokens and these cryptocurrencies. We need to learn a lot more. There's a disconnect between the monetary policy and the strategy that you put in place. Do you know the impact of having 50% of the tokens being held by the foundation versus 20% or 10% or 70%? Do you know what the difference is whether you have 50% of the tokens locked versus not locked? Do you know the relationship between the transaction volume and the price of a token and then how many users you have? We still have to learn a lot about how the operations and the economic models behind all of this. And this is very new to us right now. The point here is that really this is really about business more than it is about technology. Technology seems to be difficult today, but we're going to figure it out. I like to say that this is 90% governance and business, and the other 50% is technical. I know it doesn't add up, but this is a play on the famous saying that Yogi Berra, the famous baseball player and baseball coach, and they asked him about baseball, and he said, well, baseball is 90% mental, and the other 50% is physical. So the same thing here with the blockchain, unfortunately. More and more, we're going to figure out the technology. And it's going to be back to the business models. I want to give you some final thoughts on some of the things that I see that impact everything that's going on. First, regulation, and there's a panel about that later on. I have one thing to say about regulation. I know there's going to be a lot of work involved with classification of tokens. Is it a utility? Is it a security? Is it this or that? And so on. In my opinion, the regulators do not care, are not going to care about the nuances of the tokens classifications that we are throwing at them. What they will care about is about disclosures. It's about saying what you are doing and doing what you are saying. So what they will focus on going in the future, that is my own prediction, is there will be a requirement for more transparency. You have to tell exactly who you're giving the tokens to, what the lockup periods are, and what you are keeping, and how you're operating the whole thing. So that's going to be number one. Number two, funds. I see this as a bit of a critical risk right now. There are more than 90 funds that are coming into the space, have raised maybe close to $1.5 billion, and I see this as a risk. Because these funds, many of them are used to traditional models, traditional ways of investing, and they are going to try to use those quantitative methods for this new thing that we don't know a whole lot about yet. What is the alpha? What is the beta of a fund? It's very difficult to compute that because there is no historical record with cryptocurrencies. And we're kind of very early still. Many of these projects are not even operational yet. So how can we really quantify the investment? Scalability. Scalability is a big issue. You hear about it a lot, scalability of blockchains. And some blockchains take a hit, well, because it's not scalable, because we can only do, 7 transactions per second, or the cost of transactions is 30 cents, and that's expensive. But if I hear that, it means you really don't understand blockchains. Not everything has to be pegged to the blockchain. Not every transaction has to be on the public blockchain. There are ways that you can achieve scalability by hashing a lot of transactions and using Merkle trees and using other ways to scale horizontally via sidechains and other ways, or state channels. I'm not going to get into that because that gets into a technical conversation. But scalability is something we're going to solve. But if you have a project today, do not really say that the blockchain is not scalable, therefore we cannot do it. When I keep hearing, well, we're going to do a better blockchain because of feature X or feature Y, then I get worried as well. It is not about feature X or feature Y anymore. It is about getting a lot of developers behind your technology. It is about creating an ecosystem behind your technology. And that is really what is important. So you have to look at the blockchains that are way up there in the front, and if they have momentum, then be part of them instead of try to fight them. On-chain governance, I hear that a lot lately, and I'm a bit worried as well. Again, we're going to do governance 1.1. The first one failed, DAO failed, because we tried to do too much in something we didn't understand very well. There are other ones that are being worked on today. I don't think they are 2.0, maybe they are 1.5 or 1.1. And doing on-chain governance is very difficult. It is not easy to put all of the operations, all of the decision-making on the blockchain. We got to get to it in a stepwise manner. And those projects that are doing this in a stepwise manner, I think, are the wiser ones. And there's one last point here I thought about adding, not on the slide, is the role of foundations. That's a very important, critical element going forward. We all are rushing to create foundations, but what is the role of the foundation in reality? What do they do? Are they being run properly? What is the relationship between the foundation and the company that is developing the technology if they are not the one developing it? I'm getting on the board of 2 new foundations, and we're doing a lot of preparatory work for setting it up the right way. It is not easy. Otherwise, there will be some issues, like some of the ones that have been in the press recently. In closing, I want to leave you with 3 thoughts. There is no silver bullet for designing tokens or complying with whatever law you are part of, whether it's here in Zug, or whether it's in Gibraltar or anywhere else in the world. The dichotomy that we have today is you can be 100% compliant, but still go out in the market and fail. So you've done your homework, you've hired some good lawyers, you've paid a lot of money, and then you're out. But that is only the beginning. The ICO is only the beginning. The hard work is coming later. Number 2, we're close to $250 billion right now when you look at the market cap for all of the cryptocurrencies. I hope that a lot more good apps come out of it than just currency usage and a few protocols that are just still starting to come out. With so much money, we have to use it well. And it is so easy right now to raise money with an ICO. I keep saying, if you can fog a mirror, you can raise money on an ICO right now. It's almost that easy. It's all in the hands of the entrepreneurs to deliver. And I think we need more blockchain talk and less token. Let's not forget that tokens are married to the blockchain. It is the blockchain that is really the disruptive element here, and not just the token. The token is just an enabler to that. Thank you very much.
Excellent stuff. Thank you so much, William. Stay here for a second. Some solid content there. Stephen, are you backstage? Coming up, Stephen. Stephen's on the next panel. He's got a question for you. Put you on the spot here real quick.
So I'm looking for somebody to invest in Palley coin.
In what?
I'm kidding. So here, come on, I'm dying up here. Palley coin. Early investors, you're going to get a special offer. So here's my question, and I have my own view on this. Do you think the term utility token will be used in 2 years and then again in 5 years?
No.
Why not?
Because it is very vague. The way you define utility may not be the way I define it, and if it's not clear, then the regulators are not going to like it. I think, again, what I said earlier is they will focus more on the transparency. They will not care whether you call it a utility or a right or an ownership or a whatever you want to call it. It's really about being honest and telling everybody what you're doing up front.
Amazing stuff. More on that later during the tea break. One more time for William, please. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen, have a seat over there. That's your spot. Luka, can we have you come up, please? I'm going to give you a quick intro, and then you can clap for these lovely gentlemen over here.
Luka's going to start my Palley Coin Foundation here in Zug, actually. So I'll be taking meetings afterwards.
Yeah. There we go. So Luka here is partner at MME Legal, which was mentioned earlier. He's the chairman of Crypto Valley Association Regulatory Working Group. I said that in one go.
Thank you.
I'm pretty impressed with myself there. Stephen is a trial lawyer with Anderson Kill. He's based out of DC, and his particular area of interest is in the construction, insurance, and compliance-based software. So can we just thank him for being here, please? Excellent stuff. Okay. Local or international? Where do we start? Let's start international. US. Talk to us about laws on token sales in the US. What's good? What's bad? Where's areas of improvement?
So I learned some German yesterday, and I hope everyone will forgive my poor pronunciation. The most important thing, I believe in German you call it gesunder Menschenverstand. In French, if anybody here's from the French part of Switzerland, bon sens. And I'm going to mangle the Italian, so forgive me. Look, I think the most important thing is, I call it the duck test, or the guppy test. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. The thing about doing business in the United States, I want to say the US is open for business. It's a great place to do business. It's a great place to build software. We have wonderful capital markets. We've got laws that I think are actually easier to understand than people realize. But if you want to sell into 50 states and you want to sell you're going to sell something that's governed by federal law as well, you have to look at a complex set of laws. If something looks like a security, it's probably going to be treated like a security. If you take money from someone and you don't build the thing that you promise you're going to build, you're probably going to get sued. And the risk that you run in the United States is you've got 50 different states with 50 different regulators. You also, I believe, I may be wrong, I spent a month in a civil jury trial in Brooklyn 2 months ago, and our judge told us that we're the only country in the world that has juries for civil cases. So you run the risk, if you do things badly, of ending up in front of 8 or 12 people who might have high school educations deciding whether or not what you did was securities fraud, consumer fraud. Those are the things to think about in the United States.
Super. Luka, thinking about here.
U.S. is open for business.
Talking about things here, where do you see fundamental need for changes along regulatory framework?
I think we had now this first pilot phase where we can have, where we could have a little bit of experiment of what we can do, what are the, let's say, the different kind of applications, infrastructure, like we started with Ethereum. So I think the challenge now is we are entering into phase 2. So phase 2 means that because due to this high volume, which happened with nobody would have expected, you know, when we had in 2014 the first, let's say, pre-Crypto Valley meeting, I think there were 6 persons at the table. Wow. Nobody would expect that we had such a high, let's say, volume and community. Now this makes regulators a bit more careful, and they need to be a bit more careful. So. And William just said, you know, we don't need actually any kind of classifications or words, because every jurisdiction will use their own, because they want to be the chiefs of jurisdictions. If I go to talk in the US thinks they are the brightest guys. We in Switzerland think we are the brightest guys. So let them think they are like the brightest guys. So what we need is we need to have a more structural, more like a functional approach, because we are talking about software here. And so what is urgently needed is a functional approach to discuss what we really have. Yeah. Now, William said we have a token. Now, first you have to actually qualify, do we really have a token? And that's what we actually differentiate, let's say, the old style projects from the new style projects. Do we really have a blockchain? Now, if we have a blockchain, we can talk about blockchain crypto property. If we do not have a blockchain, we have whatever old-style ledger. So it is, let's say what is fundamentally needed is a discussion about what we really have. And this is what we always talk about. You know, if you have a fully decentralized application, you don't have a counterparty to sue, what do you need to have is property. Because you can defend. I mean, there will be counterparties.
Maybe you have thousands of them all over the world.
Yeah. But what you need to have is a definition that you can actually use what you have as a property against your peer and also against the government, you know? It's a property, let's say the concept of property is the only commercial defense right, constitutional commercial defense right you have against governments. So this is what we need, and this is one of the, for me, most fundamental challenges which not only regulators but lawmakers actually have to tackle. How do we really? What is this new legal concept which we have?
Yeah, I don't actually think it's all too new. There's a great American jurist, Oliver Wendell Holmes, I believe it was Holmes or Hand? Anyway. One of them said about 100 years ago, it was Holmes. He said, the life of the law is not logic, but experience, right? We have grappled with internal combustion engines, the printing press, television, radio, the internet, all of the legal principles that we need, at least in a common law jurisdiction. I don't think it's too difficult in a civil law jurisdiction.
Absolutely.
All the legal principles are there. I think the mistake that people have made, and this is not to pick on blockchain or token sales. The mistake people have made is they've thought that because the technology was new, the law is new. It's not. The law is there. And what you actually have to do is step back, and I think I would agree with you. You have to look at what it is that you're building, go from there, and then apply the law. You apply the law to the facts. I mean, it's what lawyers do.
I fully agree with you. And that's what I always tell the same story. When I was writing up an article about let's say the functionality of a token. Now then I actually went into my old law books, which I used when I was much younger. So I used these old law books and looked up what is a property.
Yeah.
What is the concept of property? This old Greek, Roman, and also German law concept, which was the change from a feudal system into the democratical system. It was all the elements of a property described 200 years ago are all the functionality of the blockchain. Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, we don't, it's here, the property is here, but we don't have it in the legal books. And you know what we have as well is we need it to the regulators to understand, because the impact is the disruptive element.
I think the regulators do understand, actually. I think they understand very well. And if anyone has followed our SEC commissioner's statements in the last week, I believe he said, as did the district attorney for New York, pretty much every token sale that's gone on in the United States, with maybe a few exceptions, has been a securities offering. They understand. Now, they're slow. And I don't think, here's what I think is going to happen, and I was told not to stick a pencil in my eye when I got up on stage, so I'm not going to do that. I think this is actually good for the ecosystem, which is not a word that I love, but I'm going to use that too. There are going to be some indictments in the United States in the next 18 months. Some people are going to go to prison. Hopefully nobody here. I also think we've seen 2 class actions filed against a company who, I'm not going to go into details because there may be some folks here who are involved in that company. I'm going to be polite. But I think there's maybe $600 million in crypto that's locked up as a consequence of that. I think we're going to see some more class action litigation as well. But the great thing that's going to happen is that's going to clear the space. We're going to get more precedent. It's going to clear the space for useful innovation. And look, it's great to raise money, but I guess I would ask you, if Swiss companies went to the United States and went to Wichita and set up foundations in Kansas and then started selling unregistered securities into Switzerland, you guys would be pissed, wouldn't you?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because, this is let's say I was talking with the SEC about 6 weeks ago with the head of FinTech, and they frankly admitted and say, listen, we have an issue here. We need to apply a test which is 76 years old to something which is new, and we know it's new. We know. And if we dig into certain, if it looks, for us in Switzerland, it's not like if it looks like it is, it has to be. So maybe this is a little bit of difference between all the legal systems,
So should we open up foundations in Wichita? And
No. It's the issue here in the U.S. law, which I think is a little bit problematic for the U.S., is you don't have a concrete concept. Your Howey test is actually a result of a development of a law which has been developed by courts, which is in different states, different applied. So this is actually, I'm quoting the SEC boss, and that's for them difficult. Our security law regulatory scheme is more digital. So we already did this digitalization of law. And what we need in an environment as we are here, because what you could say is, one thing you could say, okay, it looks like a security, it is a security, but is it really good that it is security? Is it the right, adequate system to regulate this new development? And I think here the more continental approach which we have is, it is more hard-coded. If it's here in Switzerland, if it's not really fulfill the requirement under the law, then it's not a security.
So if it is a security in the United States, we know exactly what to do. There are registration requirements. There's all sorts of paperwork. And it's not just the Howey test, too, incidentally. We've got the 33 Act, the 34 Act, a bunch of other statutes. You've also got state laws. But it's not just that one case. Here's a question for you, actually. And we talked about this beforehand, so I'm not springing anything on you. But I'm really interested, and I think anybody who's here from the US, or anybody who's watching this, if it's being live streamed, would like to know, what happens to, let's say I'm an American, and I come to Zug, and I create a foundation and things go bad and I raise a lot of money and the money is in the foundation, what I have counseled my American clients or people or friends who are looking at the space that you can't just go to Switzerland, get a bunch of money, set up a foundation and break the law. The Swiss will be pissed and they will probably come and take your money, but you should ask a Swiss lawyer, what happens to a foundation that holds a lot of money when things go wrong? And I'm not talking about any particular case. Yeah. I'm not sticking a pencil in my eye. I appreciate being here.
No, a foundation is suitable for infrastructure protocol releases. Like you can have, let's say, the Ethereum Foundation as an example. And I give you a little bit background history why we decided at that time in 2014 to choose the foundation as a model, because what we want to have is something really decentralized, code-driven, working like a smart contract. And then we were looking about what kind of, let's say, legal entity which we could use. We were investigating, actually it was a coincidence that we landed finally in Switzerland. We were looking about what kind of structure we could, or legal entity structure which we could find that we can set up a term, like a articles of association, like a code, and it's pre-coded like a smart contract, and everybody who is investing into this foundation knows exactly how the funds will be used, because there's no stakeholders, no beneficial owner. It will be checked by an audit company as well as by a federal authority. And that was the reason why we used the Swiss Foundation. The Swiss Foundation actually is a very old, inflexible, stupid model. You know, the foundation is not designed for operations. The foundation is, as I said, it's the bridge, it's the smart contract of the real world.
So what happens if something goes wrong and you've got a lot of money in a foundation? Does the government come in and take it over?
Yes, can be. It can be, absolutely. And so what is heavily underestimated in this whole new development world is always not the code, but the human interface.
Common sense.
The human interface, you know. And this is what I see in some of the foundation funding systems. They start to behave like investment funds. Huh. And the foundation is definitely not the suitable structure to act as an investment fund. And you know what we see is what I've seen in some of the foundation funding models, that they start to sell the tokens like a private placement. And that's not the typical way as a foundation should structure. If you make a funding like this, then it's a clear security funding, then you should have a full-fledged company, you should apply for security regulation and all this stuff.
I am so happy because this is the dream situation for a moderator, is where I should always just have two lawyers on stage just talk to each other the whole time. This is like, it's amazing. I just sit back and like, okay, this is amazing. Yeah, keep talking. Unfortunately, time is running. These two amazing, phenomenal people are here. There's a break that is happening right after this, and so you will get to see them. So memorize their faces, talk to them
Palley
about
coin.
regulation.
Let me say it loudly.
And all of that. Guys, can we go hand to the two of these people? Wonderful people. Thank you so much. Stephen and Luka, thank you. All right. Okay, we're about to take a break, but before that, the biggest partner in this whole event is Singular DTV, and I am wondering if Arie is backstage. But before that, for those who don't know Singular DTV, it's the leading blockchain entertainment studio and tokenized ecosystem. I actually think we have a video. So can we roll a video, please? And you can see what Singular DTV does.
Welcome to Toket, an evolution in entertainment. Create and control your projects with Toket, a new and exciting business structure made possible by blockchain technology is called a tokenized ecosystem. Turn your projects into a tokenized ecosystem with Toket. Tokenized ecosystems and tokens give you the ability to manage your intellectual property rights, revenue and royalty flow, as well as connect with your audience in a more meaningful way. Instead of your audience receiving just inspiration from your creative works, they can now share in your success. Never again ask permission from gatekeepers and intermediaries to create your movies, music, books, and more. Engage directly with your audience and grow your global fan base. All revenue and royalties are embedded in your tokens for your audience to immediately withdraw, or they can use your tokens to watch your movies, listen to your music, play your video games, read your books, and more. Go to Toket now to learn more. Tokenize anything. Tokenize everything. Toket.
All right, so we have some apologies coming in from Boyan. He's Bulgarian, based in the Netherlands. He was supposed to come here, but he couldn't be here to represent Singular DTV. That's sad. We have the CFO, the co-founder, and the president of Singular DTV. Please put your hands together for Arie, Levy, Cohen, please.
Thank you, man. I'll have a seat. Oh, all right. So I missed this event because my family came in from the United States to do Thanksgiving with me, because I left the US to start this business, which has been a labor of love, really. Painful at times, and culturally very challenging. But our speaker today, Boyan Balanov, had a very beautiful story to share, and somehow the world conspired to prevent him from being here, and I was invited to take over. So I had not prepared to speak about anything, and I had to actually run away from my children and get up in this monkey suit and come here and talk about Toket and Singular DTV, and thought perhaps it might be fair to say that what we're doing is building a dream on top of a dream. For us, the blockchain is a beta that delivers a dream of immutability and consensus and truth and transparency and accountability and self-regulation. It's a dream, beautiful one, and one that the blockchain actually technologically allows you to have a go at. So decentralization has a chance. And we at Singular DTV think that this technology should belong to the people, the artists of the world who, for the most part, entertain and educate and teach and make things beautiful for everybody, who just don't have business sense or business skills, maybe. Maybe they're mostly right-brain people. Maybe they're lucky to have a strong upbringing. The fact is that in Switzerland, we found a home because the values and the attributes, the gestalt of the Swiss structure is pretty much like the blockchain. I think Luka made it very clear that even the Stiftung is like a smart contract. So for us, this is an opportunity to build another beta on top of a beta. Why not? Because we have a dream to give all artists in the world an opportunity to have financial freedom and independence, and for the first time, a chance to have an immutable record of what happens to their intellectual property rights that they create, whether it be music or text or film, and the history of all that knowledge, which will in the future be recorded and immutably accessible to all, will create opportunities like the Bowie bonds for children like my son, who at 6 years old says he's an artist. And If my father was here, he'd say, my God, this boy will never make a living. How is he going to get married? But I look at him and I smile and I say, wow, I have to run to Zug to give a talk to people about what we do at Singular DTV. And I think I'd like to say to all of you that I do this for my son and my daughter, who all say they're artists, and so this is their opportunity to own their creativity.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I need to use the bathroom, so I'm going to call a break for like 30 minutes. Do you guys want to exit the hall in 30 minutes on this stage? We're going to have 10 incredible startups pitching for $100,000 US. You don't want to miss it. 30 minutes sharp, right here. See you all very soon. Okay, we are back. Yes, clap ahead, clap ahead. Why not? Amazing. So, wearing my entrepreneur hat and not my emceeing hat, what is going to happen next is probably the most exciting part of the conference for me. Because we, at Blockchain Summit 2017, are going to bring for you some of the most innovative startups out there. They're trying to start something and do something. The man behind the scenes, Mr. Blockchain Competition himself, is going to come and talk to you about it. So, let me grab this mic, and can we please welcome Ian Simpson.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the highlight, or at least one of the highlights of the Blockchain Summit, the Blockchain Competition 2017, Blockchain for Insurance. About 8 months ago, we embarked on a worldwide search for startups, teams, even individuals who have ideas how to use blockchain for insurance. And that search yielded over 100 applications from 31 different countries. And from that pool, we narrowed it down to about 60 that we decided to take a closer look at. And then our grand jury, if you will, of 17 blockchain, business, legal, insurance experts sifted through the applications and chose 22, which we decided to interview personally. After those interviews, we took it down to 10. And those are the 10 teams that you'll see on stage here this afternoon. Now, are they perfect? No. Are they ready to turn the insurance industry upside down? Maybe not quite yet. But actually, that is the whole point of the competition. That's why we did it, to encourage innovation, to foster innovation in a country which, as you already know, is the most innovative country in the world, Switzerland, to bring them here because we believe in this place. We believe in Crypto Valley, we believe in what it is now, and we believe in what it can be and what it can mean for the world in general. So that's pretty exciting. Now, just one quick word about the picture which you see on the screen behind me. I don't know how many times over the last 6-7 months I have been asked, what's going on in this picture? What is this supposed to be? And the honest to goodness answer is, I don't know. We have a really creative designer. He came up with this picture, we put it on the website, and it's been a conversation piece ever since. But my personal interpretation of this is that it represents the people who are involved in blockchain, because blockchain pioneers, people who work with blockchain, they are just a little bit different, just a new breed, a different kind of animal, so to speak. Maybe not all of them are complete revolutionaries, anarchists, but they think in different ways. They think outside of the box, in new paradigms. They see the world in new ways. Maybe some of them have a corporate background. You'll see that from some of the teams on the stage, but all of them are trying to do something new and exciting, and that's what we find very, very interesting, and that's what you'll see here this afternoon. So, welcome to the blockchain competition. May the best team win.
Thank you. I almost want to find out which one everyone is in this room. But what's probably more interesting is from 17 jury members, we brought the fiercest, the most notorious top 7 jury members that are going to sit right here. You're going to see the beautiful back of their heads. These guys are going to be absolutely petrified by the front of their heads. Can we put our hands together? Just keep clapping all the way. I'm going to introduce 7 people, so let's welcome them all. First up from the insurance space, Martin Weber-Nisle from Pax. Let's give him a hand. Stefan Scherer from Suva, Christian Huber from Helsana, Matthias Beer from Vasiliy, Rolf Gunther representing the legal side, Vasiliy Suvorov representing the tech side, and Matthias Ruch representing the tech side, investment side. Excellent things. How did I do on that name there? Ruch.
Yeah.
Did that work?
It does.
Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, and backstage, you should have seen them. They were walking around like zombies because they've only got 3 minutes to pitch their entire life. Some of them are young, some of them are old, but they've all given everything into this. 3 minutes at the spot where I am standing to pitch their idea, hopefully to win your favor and your favor. So, can we put our hands together for the 10 startups? Come on up. Look at these fine men. They're looking really calm right now, but it's going to get hot in here. So what's going to happen is 3 minutes over here, 2 minutes Q&A only from these guys. If you guys have questions, tweet them, message them, contact them later. Are we guys ready? No. I'll try again. Are you guys ready?
Yeah!
Whee! Are you guys ready? Yeah! Come on, that's it. Awesome. To everyone who's connecting with us on live stream as well, thank you so much for joining us wherever in the world you are. You're very welcome. It's amazing, 600 plus people watching this. But first up, Jason, come on up from INSURDATA. Come on. Real quick, Jason, who are you here with?
INSURDATA's Chief Technology Officer, Jeremy Stearns, has come over from San Francisco.
Nice. Now, before you were competing on stage with blockchain experts, what were you competing on the pitch for?
Yeah, it's a while ago, but my first job was as a footballer for the mighty Cambridge United.
All right.
Wow.
You're like, well, you should say Real Madrid or something. Yeah. All right, 3 minutes on the clock. Your presentation's up there. Your time starts right now.
Thank you. This chaotic diagram is a visual representation of the flow of property exposure information through the insurance industry. It involves Microsoft Excel, PDFs, legacy systems, and it's basically led by humans. So it's a very error-prone process. It's totally open to human intervention, and it takes ages to get the data through. And when the data gets through, it's often corrupted. It's often incorrectly formatted, and frankly, is not fit for purpose. And it takes a long time. So to get from the underwriter, which could be an agency and a delegated authority or bordereau, it takes a month to get that data at least to the insurance company. And to get the data from the insurance company to the reinsurance company through the reinsurance placement process takes 3 to 4 months. But it's not just about the inefficiency. So this building may be familiar to you. We're all sitting in it right now. It's the quality of data. So in order to accurately assess risk, you have to understand certain parts of the data, and it's actually rarely available. And it would include, in this building, number of stories, different construction types, the slope and elevation of the building, and proximity to risks, such as terrorism, flood, and others. And then, of course, risk mitigation attributes of the property need to be understood. And again, they're rarely understood. INSURDATA is fixing this problem. We're creating all of that data and the technology that sits behind it. And we're going back to the very fundamentals of identifying the location of the building, which today is haphazard, to say the least. So the first part of the process that we build is a footprint, a high-resolution footprint of the building, which identifies not just the building, but it pulls out the attribute information as well. And that data is then made available along with our other technology that builds 3D models and other advantages from a technology perspective. And it's available through API only. That's a really important part of our business model. We have built blockchain-enabled desktop and mobile technology available through API, and clients can either instruct the creation of the data through the INSURDATA goal engine, or if the data has already been created, they can actually get that data directly from the blockchain. So we immediately introduce an element of independent auditability and verification into the process. I'm going to quickly give you one example as I'm coming to the end of my time. On the right-hand side, to give you an example, this building, which we're working for a top 5 reinsurer, global reinsurer right now, was 1.3 kilometers away from where the reinsurer thought the building was located.
All right, thank you so much. All right, super, I'll take that. We got some quick Q&A. Matthias?
Hi, Jason. Why do you need to be at Crypto Valley, to make this a reality?
Yeah, so today we operate in San Francisco, Denver, and London, great tech centers, but with our focus moving increasingly to blockchain and the potential for ICO, which is something we're thinking, it absolutely is a natural evolution for us to be here in Zug.
Super. Any other questions? Yeah, go for it.
Do you have experience in Switzerland with weather and so this kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. From a data perspective, I worked for a modeling company called RMS for 19 years, so I'm very familiar with the Swiss insurers and reinsurers, and have done a lot of exposure analysis over the years in the region, yeah.
Stefan?
Jason, you did a proof of concept with a SCOR reinsurance company. Can you tell us some details about that, results?
So actually, we can give you more information when we issue our case study, which is coming out very soon. We shot the video for that yesterday. But yeah, we did a sample analysis in Tampa with SCOR, and we assessed their information through all of our technology very recently. In fact, we're still finalizing that now as a part of the case study. And if we get through to this afternoon session, I can give you much more information on the analysis.
Well done, Jason. Fantastic. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
All right, startup number 2. Hugh, please come on up from Nexus Mutual. So, everybody's got a different way to prepare for this moment of truth. You've got a strange hobby and interest in a way of preparing for these things.
Yeah, I listen to heavy metal music to make me relax.
Heavy metal. Any heavy metal fans? Raise your hand. There you go. There's your friends right over there.
Colleagues. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
You got 3 minutes on the clock there, and everyone noticed the last 10 seconds, there's a beep in there. So your time starts right now.
Nexus Mutual is about making something very old new again. Insurance is about the notion that society is stronger when it shares risk together. Early communities, trade groups, villages, they realized this, and they banded together to form small mutuals. They were stronger, but they suffered from an inability to grow. They couldn't grow their membership base outside of their small trusted group, and they couldn't access external capital. So what do? We put in place intermediaries, insurance companies. They allowed us to share risk amongst a greater group of people, and they also had the ability to access capital markets. They solved the 2 core issues of the mutual, the ability to scale trust and the ability to scale capital. But they came at a cost. They introduced a fundamental conflict of interest, the profit motives of the shareholder-driven company versus the member motives of getting their claims paid. So then we introduced regulation, heavy regulation, and the insurance companies, well, this was to make sure that the insurance companies managed the consumer's money appropriately. And that's largely where we are today. We've got a system that works quite well, but it's inefficient and plagued by this fundamental conflict of interest. Blockchain technology and public Ethereum can solve the 2 core problems of the insurance mutual. By transferring trust to code, we can allow individuals who don't know each other to trust each other. And by tokenizing the entity behind the mutual, we can make membership rights tradable and access external capital. Blockchain technology can bring back the mutual at scale. So now we have an alternative insurance risk carrier for the insurance industry. We have a decentralized mutual where smart contracts are linked to a real-world legal entity. So what are we going to do with it? Nexus Mutual's first product will be earthquake cover, a global risk for a global mutual platform. The platform will be efficient enough to sell micro-insurance all the way up to catastrophe bonds. But that's just the start. The platform we've built is product agnostic. As members will vote on their peers' claims, the product can actually be written on a piece of paper rather than defined in detail in the code. And this gives us heaps of flexibility. Nexus Mutual will deliver on the true promise of blockchain technology to empower the individual. Nexus Mutual will put the customer back at the heart of insurance.
Excellent stuff. Mathias, we're going to start with you.
How is the decision taken to pay out for claims?
The membership base will decide throughout a voting process on that, through a consensus algorithm. And they have the choice to vote or not. It's like the mining operation of the mutual. They get rewarded. It's an incentivized voting mechanic.
Martin, we'll go to you, and then you.
How will you enter the market and onboard your future customers?
So how I enter the market?
Yep.
So we're designing a B2B2C reinsurance platform. We can sell directly, but we're also planning to incentivize others to build consumer-facing applications that interact with the consumer directly and with our platform.
Rolf, we got a question?
Yeah, you're focusing now on earthquakes. What are the next steps? Have you any idea already?
Yeah, we want to start with natural catastrophe type covers, because naturally members who don't know the other members or where they're located can actually assess claims. Once we've gained some scale, we will specialize into more narrow products which require more specialized claims assessors as we attract those to the platform to earn service income.
Guys, can we give a hand to Hugh, please? Thank you. All right, next up from HELPERBIT, put your hands together for Guido. You've done far, far more dangerous things than standing on this stage. What is your hobby?
Yeah, I'm a caver, so I like to cave around.
What's your next biggest expedition?
We'll be in the rainforest of Papua New Guinea. We will try to find big caves, and the biggest one will be dedicated to Satoshi.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, your clock is ready. Your presentation is ready. The audience is ready. Your 3 minutes starts.
Thank you, Dan.
Right now.
Every year, sorry. Yeah, sorry, 1 second.
I make it look really easy. What you don't see is how fast my heart is beating. It is scary looking at 600 people. You're looking at 10 on stage.
Yeah.
This is frightening.
Every year, there is $100 billion of damages due to catastrophic events. And only 70% of these are not covered by insurance. And collateral damages and social tissue damage are not even considered in the statistics. When catastrophic events happen, maybe we are insured, so we think we are safe, at least economically, but essentially start the trouble. So we have to make a claim, for example. We have to respect the deadlines. And but when a natural disaster happens, maybe we cannot access anymore to our house. Even if the house is completely habitable, we have to move to another city, another country, and the community is damaged. We are interested to cover this. We are offering tools, for example, a simulator tools that allow people to estimate the quantity of money that they receive back if a specific event that they describe affect their area. And what if this is based on a smart contract that automatically redistribute this math-based currency? And what if everything in this algorithm is transparent, so you can see what is behind? We are working on that our team is working since 2015 on this. I spent quite some months to build the perfect team that comprehend developers that are in Bitcoin blockchain since 2011, expert in security and in geographical information system. We are going around Europe to show our tools, and we were also able to win some small awards that give us the opportunity to continue to work in this year. We are also able to enter in the United Nations Humanitarian Summit meeting in Istanbul, and that's it. Thank you.
I'll take that. Okay. Good job recovering. You got to keep going, you know?
Yeah.
All right, who's got a question? Matthias, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to you, Christian.
Same question. It looks to me like you're collecting awards all over Europe. Why do you need another one?
You collecting, sorry?
Collecting awards.
Uh-huh.
Why do you need another one?
Because the one that I collected was just 1,000 euro, 2,000 euro, and this is a big one.
It's a good answer.
We want to hire people, essentially. We need more talent to go faster.
All right, we'll go with you, Stefan.
Collecting awards is one thing, but when will your insurance go live?
In 1 week, we will deliver the donation part, that it's just a free part of the platform. And then next year, we are already working on the private beta of the insurance part. And the next year, we will continue to work on that.
Fantastic. Christian, did you have a question? Or?
I had the same question.
Go for it, Rolf.
What will you need as in the next step? You need resources, you need know-how, or
we need to do more research on the index part. We are working with the University of Tor Vergata in relation to index for the vulnerability, average vulnerability of the buildings that we are using in our algorithm. So we want to dig in a finer resolution, geographic resolution. At the moment, we are at country level. We want to go to regional level. And yeah.
Excellent stuff. Guys, give it up for Guido.
Thank you.
The next startup is called Reportix, and representing is Dennis. Come on up. Dennis, I have a lot of respect for entrepreneurs, all these people here, but you've got a certain obligation that maybe is even more important than the startup. Tell us about the new edition.
So he's called Leo, and he's 3 months old. He's now watching and learning about Crypto Valley, I hope. So.
All right, there we go. A dad and an entrepreneur. 3 minutes on the clock. Presentation is up. I think we're all ready. All right, your time starts right now.
Okay. So as you all know, blockchain technology provides two essential features. There's one, which is the distributed ledger. It gives you immutable data storage. And there's the smart contract, which automates business logic. So let me tell you how I got into the blockchain area. I was looking for unresolved issues in that area, and I found that the insurance sector didn't have many pilots or proof of concepts. And I was asking, why not just take an insurance policy and translate that into a smart contract? So I was doing exactly that. I took an insurance policy, which is a travel insurance, and as you all know, those insurance policies have terms and conditions and a lot of exclusions. Let me just give you one example of such an exclusion, which is that you are not covered for any claims arising from you not enjoying your travel or not wanting to travel. So this is not made up, it's a real contract. And how to translate that into a smart contract? Now, as you all know, a smart contract is made of code. So I was envisioning something like this, which is a function called claim, and it would have some sort of assertion in it, asserting that the insuree would enjoy the travel. Of course, that is complete nonsense for one reason, which is that machines cannot prove everything, so it's limited. But it has another disadvantage, which is it's written in code, and it's only readable by programmers. And there's even a third disadvantage, which is maybe the most important one, that it contradicts the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, which means the human interpretation is much more important than the machine execution. The contract must not even be based on the machine execution. So the way we solve this is that we have built a distributed ledger-based contract store, which uses extensible Ricardian contracts. So Ricardian contracts are contracts that are human-readable and machine-readable at the same time. So here's one example. You can even print this, put it side by side to a real contract, and you will see absolutely no difference. At the same time, it has tech data in it, which is machine-readable. So if you want to learn how you can actually process that, how you can integrate that into existing systems, and how we actually achieve that in a non-proprietary way, I'm happy to present that.
Well done. Come here to the middle. All right, who wants to go first? Yes, Christian.
Do you have any prototype with an insurance company done, or how's the state?
We are just in the middle of such a thing. So we have several examples built ourselves, even the securitization of insurance risks. So we have several examples where we do that, but we want to do that for insurance policies, and we are right in the middle of such a project.
Cool. Martin, we'll go to you.
How will you earn money with your solution?
So we are not quite 100% sure, right? But we will have to somehow ask maybe for 1% of the turnover that's going over that platform, something like that.
I was nervous for this moment, so Vasily's got a question now.
So is your solution portable? What are you supporting? Is that Ethereum, Solidity, or are you planning Corda, Hyperledger Fabric, so on?
I mean, we try not to address everything, right? We have to focus on something. It's Hyperledger based right now, but I wouldn't say that it's not portable also to other solutions, but we have not looked into that.
Great. Let's take one more question. You guys can fight it out. Who's going to do the question?
Which line of business, insurance business, will profit most of your solution?
Maybe travel insurance, maybe, you know, insuring high value goods, something like that. It needs to be dynamic. Maybe cargo shipping, you could, yeah. We're not quite sure.
Great stuff. All right, Dennis, thank you so much. I'll take the remote. Let's give him a hand. All right, next contestant up, Shield It, and Hugo. Come on up, Hugo. That's for you. Thank you. So this guy who used to sing in my choir goes, hey, you got to watch out for my friend. My friend is going to be at this competition. Little did I know that he'd be standing on my right and presenting and pitching for his life. Small little world, but you've got something unique from all these men over here. What is that unique feature about you?
Well, I guess I'm 23, which is maybe not the case of everyone here.
So the youngest contestant in the group. Come on, let's support this fella. All right. Hugo, you ready?
Yep.
Super. 3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts right now.
Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. My name is Hugo Moreau, and with my friend Paul, we spent the last 4 months developing a project at EPFL Cryptology Laboratory. A project based on a 45 pages white paper, along with a prototype based on Ethereum smart contracts. Today, we're very happy to tell you about this project, a project that brings insurance, finance, cryptography, and blockchain together. But first, let me ask you a very simple question. Are you not tired to not be able to find any good options to insure all the goods that you care about, but are not pricey enough to be insured by the standard insurance? Well, indeed, we realized something very important. Today, there is a clear conflict of interest between an insurance and its customers. On one hand, an insurance, just like any other business, has financial incentives to reduce the bill as much as possible when it comes to reimbursing claims. On the other hand, customers, they feel entitled to be reimbursed for everything they need because they pay often expensive monthly fees. So we decided to realign those interests. And today, we present to you an insurance by customers for customers. An insurance where every user contributes to a common fund of money in order to reimburse each other. An insurance without the need for any intermediaries, which allow us to drastically reduce the cost for the end customers. But then you may still wonder what we're proposing today. Well, we're proposing you to take part into a revolutionary community, to be the actor of tomorrow. We propose you to leverage the power of blockchain to share resources and spread the risk among a group of people that you may or may not know. We propose to you to insure all the goods that you use on a day-to-day basis, your phone, your tablet, your camera, your glasses, or even your favorite bicycle. If you think you can vote on a situation that involves that item, then the system can insure it. Your imagination is the limit. Finally, in a team, decide on the rules that you want to follow when it comes to reimbursing claims. Again, there's no intermediaries, no central referee. You can forget about the pricey overhead of a standard insurance system. Today, we're very proud and happy to present to you ShieldIt, a peer-to-peer insurance customized to your needs. But then, a final question remains. Why should you choose us today? Well, after 4 months of developing this prototype and this white paper, it is now time to take this prototype to market. It's now time to build a platform. By the end of today's presentation, you will have seen a lot of large teams with already existing funding. Today, we're just 2 students that strongly believe that their invention can revolutionize the way that we interact with each other, finally using technology to bring back collaboration. So remember, if you care about something, shield it.
Nice. Thank you. We've got a lot of supporters here. Let's see how the jury feels about it, though. Mathias, we'll start with you.
So in your democratic system, how do you prevent from fraud?
So when you think about fraud, you think about people frauding the community, saying that they have wrong. So what we do is that because we realign the interest of the customers with the insurance, people are actually incentivized to make the money go as long as possible, because it's their own money. When there's no more money, there's no more insurance. So they will be actually incentivized to not cheat the community. And at the same time, they're incentivized to not just fight each other and say no to every other claim, because that will show on their statistics, and people will not reimburse them when their claim comes in.
Yes, go for it, Stefan.
Insurance is based on large numbers. How do you want to create communities fast?
So the idea is to have a pre-subscription phase where actually we can propose to people to propose, okay, I want to insure phone for this value. Who's with me? And then the community will compute what's the risk and how much everyone needs to pay so that the community is expected to last for 1 year. So we actually have this pre-subscription, and people can decide to launch the contract, the policy, only once a given number of people has reached.
Just remember, if you care about something,
shield it.
Hey, all right. Have a seat. Thank you so much. Okay, so first half done over here. Now we got the second half. Joseph from Tokimart, come on up. Joseph, someone told me that before you're an entrepreneur, you were something else.
I was an architect. Well, I still am, I suppose. I studied architecture in Denmark.
An architect. And one thing these guys will care about is bootstrapping, your ability to take something little and stretch it. Yep. What did you do when you were in Denmark?
So yeah, when I first moved over there, I decided I would find somewhere to live once I arrived. So my first night, I was thinking, where can I sleep tonight? I ended up staying in a caravan and couch surfed for a while and made it work.
There we go, a resourceful man. All right, 3 minutes on the clock. Your presentation is up. Your time starts right now.
Thank you. So we are Tokimart. And our aim here is to be the reinsurance exchange. I'd like to ask a question. How many people have bought insurance, like health insurance, car insurance, home insurance? Can I just see a show of hands? So, more or less everyone in the room. How many people have sold insurance? Almost no one. Maybe the people who work in insurance do it every day. So our goal here is to democratize the reinsurance marketplace and allow everyone to take part in that. So we have an investor portal where people interact similar to how they would do with buying stocks and shares. We have an insurance-linked security, which is effectively a tokenized policy, and then that policy is put on an exchange and then freely traded in a secondary market and a global marketplace. So next slide. So why does reinsurance exist? Primarily, it's used as a tool for risk management. If an insurer is overexposed in one area, they would offset that and sell their policies. And if they're underexposed, they would buy more in that area. So it's a way to manage their risk in geographies or asset classes. Often they're regulated, whether internal mandatory, internally, or whether that's in the jurisdiction, the country they operate. But fundamentally, it's for capital allocation purposes. And a well-functioning reinsurance market means that the coverage is in the right areas at the right times, effectively making insurance safer for everyone involved. It's to stop the financial loss. So where's the opportunity? We see it at the moment, it's inefficient. There are multiple people involved between an insurer buying a policy and then selling a policy. There's multiple layers of different intermediaries. You have agents, you have brokers, you have multiple stages involved across geographies. It's highly ineffective at the moment. We think blockchain can be the enabling factor that would remove all of that inconsistency. Often it's closed. Like when I posed the question, almost no one's taken part in this marketplace. We think we could democratize that and bring it so anyone can take part. And oftentimes this data is incomplete. We have data which gets obfuscated and hidden away amongst insurers when they trade it amongst themselves. There's often a lack of transparency involved, and oftentimes they don't know who's insured or where those insurance goes. Something like the mortgage-backed securities, a lot of assets were hidden away, and no one really knew who owned what. It all came tumbling down. So we believe we can stop that kind of action happening by tokenizing insurance, by putting the policies on chain, pegging them to a local currency, tokenizing them effectively, and then allowing people to take part in an insurance-linked security in a freely traded market. We can democratize insurance. We believe when we open it to the market, when we combine insurers, reinsurers, investors, and financial institutions, as well as everyone here, we can create a truly global marketplace that increases the liquidity for everyone, makes insurance safer for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, who's got questions? All right, we'll go with you, Martin.
What kind of governance would you apply to your exchange market?
Well, at the moment, we have, it would be kind of self-governing. We would allow the buyers of the policies to dictate the price of it, so it's market-driven forces that would define that, similar to how the stock market defines the price of an asset, like the price of Apple is defined by the people who buy it and sell it. So that would be the same thing, it would be like self-governance.
Mathias?
So how do you motivate the investors to enter the secondary market?
Well, the incentive is that once an insurer has the policy and it's collateralized, they put that to the market, and they would have that for a certain amount of time, whether that's like a 1-year policy or a 2-year, and there would be amounts of collateral left over for that policy. So there's an element of risk holding it, and because there's risk involved, there's potential for return. So there's an incentive to hold that asset.
One more question, Mathias?
When you say we, how big is your team, and at what stage is your project currently?
Yeah, so we started a hackathon earlier this year. So there's me, and we have a technical guy, and we have an insurance guy. So there's three guys in the basement at the moment working on this.
All right, Joseph, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done. From Blockchain InsurLab, guys, put your hands together for Martin, please. That's for you. All right, Martin, so where are you from?
I'm from Cologne.
Cologne. Earlier today, you described Cologne as crazy Cologne.
Yep.
Why is Cologne crazy?
I would say it's the craziest city in Germany.
Okay.
And it's crazy because we have not only a cathedral, but we even celebrate Carnival inside. And we laugh, shouting, Kölle Alav. Isn't that crazy?
I guess that was crazy. I have no idea what he just said, but hopefully the rest of his presentation will make sense to you. 3 minutes on the clock. The jury's ready. Audience is ready. Your time starts right now. Have fun.
Yeah. Dear natives and guests of the Crypto Valley, in 2015, the United Nations agreed on 17 goals to transform the world, the globe. It is a new agenda to end poverty and to protect the planet. But what can we, the insurance industry, do to reduce malnutrition and poverty in the world? My colleagues and I from Blockchain InsurLab have decided to leverage blockchain technology for this. Our mission is to serve the underprivileged in the world. And we do this based on a crop microinsurance scheme that we developed on the Ethereum platform. Let me briefly explain our concept. We insure small-scale farmers in developing countries against flooding or drought. The annual insurance premium for a small piece of land should be on average $5. The sum insured would be around $200. For such low insurance premiums, traditional insurance and even microinsurance simply doesn't work due to the high administration costs, for example, for assessing claims. That's now why blockchain comes into play. We have developed a prototype on the Ethereum blockchain for a crop microinsurance scheme. Our scheme involved 3 partners: the farmer, the insurance company, and the external weather data provider, so an API that we use as the oracle. Our smart contract is self-executing. That means the insurance amount is automatically paid out when the predefined conditions are met, for example, if there's too little or too much rain. The next step will, of course, be to implement it and to launch it in some pilot countries, and that's, of course, the difficult thing. We plan to explore how we can implement it together with Zurich Insurance Group, our partner, and the Blue Marble Microinsurance Consortium. This consortium was founded in 2015 at the World Economic Forum and consists of 7 other major insurers, apart from Zurich. It's from the US, Bermuda, and South Africa. I'm Martin from Blockchain InsurLab in Cologne, and this is my team. I'm an experienced economist. We have 2 developers, Malte and Tobias Latzke. And we have Arie Machuk, who is a true blockchain veteran. So hopefully we can change the world together with this solution.
Good stuff. I'll take that. Who's got a question? All right, let's go you, Rolf.
Yeah, Martin, have you already talked with your possible customers in underdeveloped countries?
Personally, not. Yeah, that's of course the tricky thing. Of course, there are quite a lot of microinsurance schemes around, and it's really important to find the right pilot country. The Blue Marble Consortium, where Zurich is part, has already developed 2 prototypes. They have devoted themselves to launch 10 different pilots, so why not launch one of them with a blockchain solution?
Super.
But we need a network on the ground, of course, that's clear. You need experts like insurers that work in Africa, for example.
So you already work for an insurance company, as I understand. So why do you need this competition for?
Actually, it was a crazy idea that I had. I wanted to devote my further professional life, at least the next 2 or 3 years, to exploring blockchain technology. I was able to find a very good partner in Cologne that is able to implement things, that is KI Decentralized, founded by Arie Machuk. Of course, we now have to find out what Zurich would like to do really in this field. So I guess after this presentation and maybe your decision, we have to ask the board, would you now really like to reach out to our experts within and to the Blue Marble Consortium to work on a prototype?
All right. Thank you so much, Martin. Appreciate it. Have a seat. So this next gentleman has probably traveled the farthest from Cybercar. Please welcome Chuck. All right. Chuck, a little birdie told me that you're a pilot, and you did not confess this earlier.
That's true.
Now, most pilots fly planes, but you're a little bit different because...
I guess I fly mostly in a plane that I built.
That's right. This man also builds his own planes. He's going to talk about the startup that he's building. 3 minutes on the clock. Starts right now.
Thank you, Dan. Cybercar's secure telematics platform extends the blockchain membrane of trust to include the vehicle. Let me tell you why this is important. Insurance is built on trust, and blockchain delivers a powerful new paradigm, or chain of trust, Bringing blockchain innovation to insuring physical property requires information from trusted outside oracles. We know that vehicles reside in the physical world, with trucks and vehicles and cargo, while the blockchain is computer software existing in a virtual world. We want to bring those things together. Our mission at Cybercar is to create the ultimate oracle of vehicle information. The Secure Telematics Platform is a blockchain-optimized platform, blockchain-optimized security platform implemented within the vehicle. What do I mean by blockchain-optimized? The platform implements what we commonly associate, functions that we commonly associate with digital wallets, like identity and key management. And we also, of course, bring digital signatures and encryption functions to the toolbox. We're currently working with a number of vehicle interface manufacturers, and we're happy to announce that the CalAmp LMU is deployed today with STP up and running on it in customer vehicles. We're working with drive cams where they have intelligence in the camera that gives us a notification when something interesting has happened, like an airbag is deployed, etc. We will sign the data, store the signature in the blockchain, dump the information, the raw video information, in some kind of a less expensive database. Finally, we're hard at work on a low-cost solution we call M2, where we're porting STP onto a device that we can put in a vehicle for well under $100. A lot of our effort is in the cloud, in the blue box, where we're working on blockchain services, and we have our Cybercar Solutions Lab, which provides data services, RESTful APIs, and tools that will look familiar to web application developers all over the world. Cybercar is led by a team of veterans with broad experience in wireless, vehicle, electronics, and of course broad experience with startups. And finally, we have a young, ambitious engineering team working on blockchain, bringing a lot of enthusiasm to these old dogs. Market traction is going very well. We have this ever-expanding roster of partners and customer deployments. And I want to leave you with the thought that blockchain innovation for the insurance industry requires information from the physical world. Cybercar is the vehicle data oracle for the insurance industry.
There we go.
Thank you very much.
Super. All right, Chuck, I'll take the notes.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Super. Who's got a question? Matthias?
You just flew in from Denver, so can you give me 3 reasons why you could profit from the Crypto Valley ecosystem?
Well, we have no beachhead in Europe at this point. So obviously that's, Europe is a huge market, vehicles. So that's at least one. There's a lot of insurance in this area, right? So that's at least 2. And let's see, what would be the best 3rd reason? We have, obviously, I'm from Colorado and it makes me feel right at home to be here. So thank you very much.
There we go. Super. Other questions? Yes, please go for it.
So what's in for the car driver?
I'm sorry.
What's the benefit for the car driver, the owner of the car?
That's a good question. One of the benefits we see long term is we provide the opportunity for the driver and all the drivers and fleet owners and so on to own their data. And so when they shop for insurance, they can take their data and say, here's my real driving record certified on the blockchain. So that's at least one reason.
Last question, Rolf?
Yeah, there are quite a lot of companies who are working with telematic data. What makes you special? So what are you doing different?
I think just we're moving quickly. We have a lot of deep experience in telematics. We're learning blockchain and bringing in young talent. So yeah, it's definitely a horse race. We have some intellectual property in that area dating back, a dozen years or so. So we have a few different elements that make us stand out.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dan.
All right. From Loyalty Coin, put your hands together for Thomas, please. Very good, man.
Yep.
Talk to us about Latin flavor.
Latin flavor. So my wife is Chilean. So I worked and lived in Chile for 2 years, and I love this, Swiss organization, serious, humble, and then a passionate flavor from Latin America.
Fantastic. Also, for all of you in the audience, the only sole Swiss representative here, so, popular vote for this man. You guys ready, jury? Yeah. Audience, you still there? You guys ready? Yeah. Okay, super. Your 3 minutes starts right now.
Hello everybody, grüezi miteinander. Imagine a world where you all can collect rewards, loyalty rewards everywhere. At your gym, when you take the train to Zug, when you go to your favorite coffee shop, when you buy an insurance, or when you travel abroad, all simply on your phone. Loyalty Coin is creating such a world where customers can collect everywhere, exchange anytime, and redeem whenever and wherever they like. We use our own blockchain to enable peer-to-peer exchanges of these rewards. So let's give you an example. You collect the rewards through a whole week. You collect it in 5, 6 different shops. Today they are kind of fragmented and not so useful. Tomorrow, with Loyalty Coin, with us, you can actually exchange them. So it comes Friday, you want to surprise your wife. So you take all these kind of different rewards, you exchange them, you get an immediate rebate on the flower shop, and you surprise your wife with a flower. Remember, happy wife, happy life. So I give you now 3 reasons what we bring to you as insurers or to our partners. First, we're going to create, design, set up, and run for you a unique program. Your customer are going to love and like choice and simplicity. And imagine a customer from an insurance maybe wants to use the rewards that you give him for something else. So what he actually does, he exchanges on our blockchain peer-to-peer with another customer. So your insurance will even gain new customers and can sell them new insurance. Second, by joining our ecosystem, you can actually learn more and better understand the customer, because we're going to be along the entire customer journey. So you can learn what is the preference of me, what is my lifestyle across different brands, not only your insurance product. You can also directly communicate with the customer through our app. You can directly communicate digitally. You even have the advantage to communicate with him personalized. Third, now I have to run a bit, you can gain all of that network system without any contractual, neither financial liability with all the different programs because of the blockchain. We are actually live, 2 programs in Zurich, 4 shops, Phase 8 and June. Customers are using our points. We have a simple app where you just press on exchange and use the benefits of blockchain in the real world. We'd like to invite you to join our ecosystem to help us build this global loyalty program. My name is Thomas Götzmann. I'm the proud owner and founder and CEO of Loyalty Coin. Thank you for your attention.
Nice job, Thomas. Well done. I'll take the remote. All right, questions, guys? Yes, Stefan and then Christian.
Can you give us some more details why an insurance company should join your network?
Yes. So as an insurance, you're very interested because everything goes digital, right? There is a lot of comparison. I have friends that actually trying to build new digital insurance to get your business. And you have to build something where I, as a customer, have a positive experience when I buy at your experience. So I can get rewards, and then I can use them everywhere where I want. So suddenly, the insurance gives me something that I can use to buy my shoes. So I have a positive experience, and you get a direct communication with me, even when I buy through a broker.
Christian?
Do you have feedback from real users of the app, the pilot app?
Yes. Our first user, and I'm very proud of that, actually confirmed our sales activation use case. She bought for 1,000 francs dresses, got on the app real-time 60 francs discount, was so happy to say, I'm going back, and bought another pair of dress. This other pair was 350 Swiss francs. She got 260 francs lost, so she paid actually 290 francs more. You know, our customer actually was happy. The customer was happy, we went out, and our seller were happy too.
Great. Last question, Mathias?
That was no exchange, so part of your solution is exchange.
Yeah.
your solution will only be as good as the number of partners that you have. Can you elaborate on the rollout strategy or partner acquisition strategy?
So right now, our main customer is a girl, women between 30 and 70 years old. We were surprised ourselves. So we tried to build around this community like what they need, hairdress, beauty set, accessory, whatever, in Zurich to build a community. And from there, we then go on the Swiss platform. So we have a three-level strategy. First, we try to go to the bigger guys that doesn't have a program yet. Let's call it the white space. Offer them a program. Second, we go to the ones that already have a program and try to onboard legacy programs. And third, we work with partners to get a bigger scale.
Great stuff. Guys, put your hands together for Thomas.
Thank you.
Good job. Whew. It is hard to listen to all of those and just be waiting, isn't it? Now it's your turn. From Blockshare, please put your hands together for Ranveer. The last Mathias saw me on stage, I had a couple amazing Hollywood stars. You've got your own Hollywood story.
Yeah, when I was a schoolboy, there's always been a naughty schoolboy inside me. I think it's still there. That's why I'm in the blockchain world doing things differently. But I was in a film called Weatherby with Vanessa Redgrave, and I was a naughty schoolboy. I got told off, and I got sent out of the classroom.
Well, hopefully you won't get told off by these guys. Your 3 minutes starts right now.
Hi, thank you, everybody. What I'd like to tell you about is the most exciting project I've taken in my career in the insurance industry, which feels like 100 years I've been in it, right? But what it is about is creating a connected insurance platform for existing incumbents, so insurers, brokers, for people in the insurance industry or new entrants who want to disrupt it, to create insurance ecosystems. We're a technology player that wants to work alongside the industry. We haven't done what the insurance industry sometimes does and taken existing processes and efficiencies and put them on a platform. What we've done is just stay true to blockchain. We've created sovereign identity, smart contracts for policies, DLT technology for value, and actual transfer of value. So it's simpler. It's much quicker to transfer data. You have a single platform for sales, MTAs, claims management. You can integrate it with existing technology or stand alone. Yeah? 10 to 35% reduction in cost. That's really, really conservative. Some of our brokers who we're working with, trialing it with, think it can go to 50%. But you also get a better quality of data, because that data from start to finish is one input all the way through. And it shortens product delivery times as well. This is our first app. It's a motor app. We're focused on the customer. We're not doing just back office. We start with the customer, and we say they input the data, it goes all the way through. Smart policies are built using this, okay? Claims are made, a customer goes in, says, I want to make a claim. They don't need any information, any data. That's already in the information suite in this platform, and that gets sent through. They only ever input claims data. These are the products we're working on. There are 3 things about them. They're new. So we're working with brokers and insurers who want to do new products because they can understand how the platform works. 2, it requires real-time data transfer. It's parametric insurance, on-demand insurance, or real-time claims notification. And the other thing is we have to really, really reduce the cost of administration so we can actually deliver really small premium products very quickly. We next move on to mainstream general insurance, simple life, employee benefits kind of products as well, because for group schemes and employee benefits, this works. So what do we see? We see a new world happening in insurance in the future. 4 phases: discovery, adoption, challenge and norm. The new world will be virtual insurance companies because processing will happen via the distributed ledger. You'll have automated regulation, because why do we have KYC like it is? You can automate that. Client money becomes an issue of the past. Premiums can be split at source, and everybody gets their commission or their risk premium. Challenging the norm, where we'll start taking regulators forward and say, why do we have this regulation when we can automate it? You'll start using tokens, instant settlement, and the world will start looking differently. Adoption is where people will start looking at now and saying, how do we make it work? And discovery is sort of where we are at the moment. People saying, well, we do this, it's different. So I think in the future, we'll have a simpler insurance world, but it will look drastically different to what it does on a connected platform.
Excellent. Thank you, Ranveer. I'll take the remotes. Okay. A few questions. Vas. Yeah.
So it wasn't clear, is that a public or a private blockchain?
So what we do at the moment is we've worked on Quorum and Ethereum, and we use permission chains. So we've built a platform to start on that, but we know that we can't stick to one platform, because if somebody's got an identity on Ethereum, The insurer may be on Corda. So we're now developing on Corda because interoperability is core to what we need. And then we've also looked at Hyperledger, and we said it was close between Hyperledger and Corda, and at some point we'll say we have to have an interoperability platform. People are working on solutions, and we will work with those. But it's permissioned at the moment. In the future, that may not be the case.
Matthias?
So who should use Blockchain? Insurance companies?
Insurance companies, brokers, anybody who adds value in the insurance value chain and wants to take out lots of inefficiencies, they're the people that should use it. If you don't add value in the insurance chain, if you're just a processor or, let's say, a post box, then it's not for you, really.
Christian?
Have you spoken to regulators in Europe, and especially in Switzerland?
We're starting to talk to regulators. We've had a couple of conversations. So it's part of the process we've been through. We wanted to make sure it worked. And we really want to make sure the platform worked. We've only just started talking to our first, well, we go live in production with our first few products. And as part of that, we're talking to the UK regulator. We've had 2 conversations, and we've got to go and have a more serious conversation with them. But we're not regulated. We build the technology. We're adhering to current regulation. So how we build this is to make sure it works for current regulations. And we know that in the future, we can push the regulations and things. So we have to adhere to what's there when we launch. Now, that's part of when we go overseas, the technology is portable. We'll have to think about how we adapt that to other regulations. But it's very much at the forefront of what we do.
Quick question, quick answer. Stefan?
You focus on gadget insurance. Why should an insurance company do it, not themselves?
They can do it themselves, but you deal with existing partners. It's just a lower cost way of doing it. And for, let's say, distribution partners, how we're doing it, it might take a little bit longer, but we're going through people who are retail distribution partners, brokers, and then they can just plug their own insurer in.
All right, Ranveer, thank you so much. Let's give him a hand. Okay, so from over 100 applications, we're down to our top 7. Can you all stand up real quick? Come on, let's give them all a hand, can we please? Amazing. You guys can exit. Thank you. All right, so these 7 are now in the hot seat because they got to go from 10 down to 3. The next time you see them, I'll be getting an envelope with the top 3. Reminder that the winner gets $100,000 US. It's not just about the money, it's about the networks and the mentoring and everything else that goes in with it. So can we give a hand to the jury who now have their work to do? So, the insurance space is really, really key. And next up, we've got a guy called Stefan Karpiszek who's going to talk about, is decentralized insurance the future? This is why it's important that we listen to him, because he's the co-founder of Etherisk. He's been in the digital currencies and blockchain space since 2008. Guys, let's put our hands together for Stefan.
Right on.
That's for you.
Thank you.
Super.
So what do you think? Wasn't this great? I like it very much. You know what I find most fascinating about this competition? I had the privilege to be part of the jury in the previous rounds. And when we had our conversations with those startup teams, some of which you just saw on stage, I found it most interesting that some of the teams actually came together for this competition. This competition started their work, and some of the projects that we have just seen on stage would not exist without this competition. And that's, in my opinion, a big achievement by itself, and I want to applaud Lakeside Partners and Inacta for pulling this off. That's a great achievement. Thank you so much. And to all the startups that just pitched here, you have already won. You have already succeeded in putting together a great project and a great team, and in a vastly expanding, very fast growing space. So congratulations on that to all the participants that we have seen just now. You have already succeeded. Don't care too much about the prize. That's just the icing on the cake. Yeah. So, is decentralized insurance the future? What a question. I could just answer, yes, of course, and we are done, and we can continue with the rest of the agenda, but there is actually more to it. Asking this question to me, I have been working now together with my co-founders and our team on decentralized insurance for over 2 years. It's a bit like asking a father if he sees a future in his children. This is my youngest one, Ferdinand. And as you can see, he's just about learning to stand on his own 2 feet. Now you know maybe how this looks like, yeah? Wobbly knees. And you can see he's barely able to stand, but he is already operating heavy machinery. That's a fire extinguisher. Yeah? So he feels responsible, and I see a lot of future in there. And I see also this is the stage where we are at the moment with decentralized insurance. We are about to stand up, to stand on our own feet for the very first time. So I'm definitely biased when it comes to answering that question whether or not decentralized insurance is the future. Some of the startups just asked you how many of you have insurance in the room. So I remember that most of the hands went up. Almost all of you have insurance, and those who did not raise their hand were either ignorant or not listening. In Switzerland, 9.2% of the GDP goes into insurance. On this map, you see the G7 and a few selected countries, and their ratio between insurance spending, what people actually pay as insurance premiums, in relation to the GDP, to the gross domestic product. The overall average in OECD countries is 8.8%. 8.8% of the GDP goes into insurance. Switzerland is a bit better, as always. But you also see a few countries in here. I've marked here Russia, Mexico, Honduras. I was just recently in Mexico for a large Ethereum developer conference. In Mexico, only about 2% of the GDP go into insurance spending. So the amount of money that goes into insurance is a very good indicator about the maturity of an economy. What is our takeaway here? In order to solve the really big issues in this world, the distribution of resources, inequality, access to resources, migration that comes as a consequence out of that. If we want to solve those issues, we need to close that gap. We need to work on insurance solutions for the rest of the world. You are all privileged. You all have insurance. That's not true for most of the world. Think of this guy. Imagine you are a farmer in a developing country. I'm sure you have a hard time imagining that. If his crop is gone, only 1 year, that's life-threatening for him and his family. Over 70% of the world's population don't have access to proper social security. 70%. That's 5 billion people. We need to work on this. We need to close this gap. We need to work on better, easier, more convenient insurance solutions. And here comes the blockchain. I've been talking to a lot of people why we do insurance on the blockchain. And William said it before in his keynote, you have to have very, very good answer to that question, why blockchain? And for the last months and years, I was always improving my answer to that question, why blockchain? And you have heard a few of those answers that I used to give when talking about this, just here on stage from the startups. Transparency, provably fair, fairness, conflict of interests resolved. That's all good and true. I stopped giving these answers. Instead, if someone asks me today, why blockchain, I ask back a question. I ask back, have you actually ever used blockchain? And I want to ask this question to you. Please raise your hands. Who in the audience has used the blockchain knowingly? That's more than average. So, all of you who have not raised their hands now, what are you doing here? This is a blockchain summit. Come on. I want you all to go out, install your wallet, talk to the neighbor who just raised their hands, and transfer some crypto. Really, do it. You need to use it. If you don't use it, you won't understand it. It's impossible. I stop working with people who want to tell me about blockchain and insurance and how to best apply blockchain to insurance if they have never used a blockchain, if they have never used a wallet, if they have never owned a cryptocurrency. That's just nonsense. I'm sorry. This is a blockchain summit. I want all of you, if you go out that door, you should have used blockchain. Thank you. And it's worth it, because what I realized, a lot of those people who ask me that question, why blockchain? Why insurance on the blockchain? A lot of those people who ask that question have never used it. We need to change that. It needs education. Education, education, education. Let me give you a quick example. I was told, don't pitch ether risk here. Provide a keynote, you know, the vision and everything. So I'll try to keep it short. This is an insurance policy, a certificate of insurance. This insures my flight back home to Vienna tomorrow. You all can buy such an insurance policy today. This is a legal, fully regulated, licensed insurance business that is running completely on the public Ethereum blockchain. And this is operating live now. You can buy it now. You don't even need to have crypto. You can pay with your credit card. The process is much nicer if you pay with crypto. So, this is existing right now. This is in production. And of course, we are not stopping there. We are extending this to more insurance verticals. We want to enable a whole lot of insurance businesses like this one is right now, that's generating revenue, that has paying customers. We sold 36 policies in the last 2 days. So we want to enable a lot of insurance businesses, a lot of startups, just like we have seen this now, by providing templates, the building blocks that you need in order to put together such an insurance product. Who of you here is running an insurance business or is making a living out of insurance? Anyone? Okay. So you have the chance to start your own insurance business in the next year using blockchain technology and using the decentralized insurance protocol that we are about to develop. And I want to invite you all. We are just about to stand up and start walking in this space. And I invite you all to go stand up with us and come with us. Thank you so much.
Let's stay. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. I know you were watching backstage. You saw the 10 startups. Do you have a favorite?
I'm biased. That's a tough question.
I know.
I have a lot of favorites, actually.
Okay.
So there are a few really, really impressive ones.
Are you going to reveal them?
I want all of them to succeed, you know?
So you're going to hand out 100K to every one of them?
Potentially. Why not?
Question, next 5 years in this space, what do you see? Just looking out over the horizon.
I just recently made a very bold prediction. I think in 5 years' time, we will see 30% of the GDP on the blockchain.
Wow.
And 10% of this will be insurance.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Stefan.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, here's what's about to happen. We've got not 30, not 20, not 25, not even 15 minutes. We have a 10-minute quick bathroom break, because when we come back, we're revealing the top 3. I also have a flight to catch this evening, so I'd really appreciate you coming back on time. All right, so we'll see you in 10 minutes. Talk to you soon.
I remember in 1997, David Bowie, he sold himself. He launched himself on Wall Street. Essentially what he did was he took his music that he made, that he owned, and he tokenized it. All of his music's future royalties he put in the form of bonds that he called Bowie bonds. You can call them tokens as well. So the public could buy a piece of his music. It was a direct investment into him as an artist. And no one had ever done that before. It was groundbreaking. And he raised $55 million doing it. I wanted to do what David Bowie did. I wanted to tokenize my writings, my books, my scripts. And now, 19 years later, we have the tools. We're building the technology for anyone with an idea or a project to create their own tokenized ecosystem. You know, giving them the opportunity to find the audience, giving the world the opportunity to buy their tokens, to fund their project, to help manifest their dreams. What Singular DTV is building is a completely new type of industry. It's an alternative, you know, an alternative that is transparent, that is uncensorable, that is peer-to-peer, where revenue collection is instantaneous, where middlemen don't exist. No sales agents, no distributors, no lawyers, no intermediaries that end up diminishing an artist's profit potential through creative accounting or through waste and inefficiency. We're building a completely decentralized entertainment industry. We're building the tools that empower artists, that give them control over their property, over their revenue. In order to make sure that the most important part of the process wasn't just theory, we had to prove it. You know, we had to tokenize our idea, and we had to launch it to the world. And that's what we did.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, launch! Singular DTV token launches in the air!
Right on!
Bravis! Good job, guys. Fantastic go.
So we've got 229,000 Ether, 274,000 Ether.
2 million, 3 million. Jesus.
5.5 million.
We are less than 1 million away from the cap. All right, we're approaching, we're past 7, we're at 7.1.
Yes! Yes!
Good job.
Thanks for all your beautiful energy and your amazing work. Yay. Wonderful.
All right, welcome back to session 3. Come on, let's hear it. So we're in the final little bit. The startups are nervous, they're excited about what they're gonna hear. But before that, we've got another, look at this, we got chairs all over again, which means you have a panel. But this time I got demoted. we're going to bring a better-looking Daniel on stage to do the moderating. So can we put our hands together, please, for Daniel Zakrzan? Come on up.
Hi.
So he's the co-founder of Co-Foundit, and for those who don't know you and your company in a tweet, what is it that you do?
Yeah, so we're basically building a decentralized Visa ecosystem for the blockchain age. So we've been doing that for like 4 or 5 months now. We're 40 people spread around the world.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
You've got 5 phenomenal people on stage. The stage is yours, the audience is yours. Enjoy yourself.
Great, thank you. So I will start with just inviting my fellow colleagues up on stage. So let's start with Claudio Perinello from Unico, Angel Versetti, Ambrosis, Mark Berniger, CryptoFund, Roger Henney from Datum, and Robert Vieco from Dash. So great to have you all of you here. We will try and do something a little bit different. So I will start to give a little bit of an introduction, and then each one of us will talk about disrupting different industries. So, because blockchain so far has really disrupted 2 things. Money remittance, that's the first big real use case, and it's active today. The next thing that was really disrupted is startup financing. We're in the middle of that right now. That's what we're working with, and we're trying to push the boundaries. We've been active in this space for quite some time now. We worked with we're actively engaged with more than 40 blockchain companies so far, and have been in contact with several hundred. And the next step that will happen is we will go and challenge and disrupt individual industries. So I will give a short introduction and also to think about, so where are we? All of this, we have blockchains and we're tokenizing different things, assets, or to do things now differently. And we generally tend to think about that we're building things along 2 different dimensions today, and finding a frontier where it makes sense today to build on what already exists, but at the same time can challenge an industry that is already existing. That's a very, very hard decision to make, and that's something we'll talk about. So these 2 dimensions are basically a trust dimension or an asset dimension. So what kind of assets can you tokenize? And the other dimension is the technology stack. And finding your right place in that starts with blockchains, protocols, platforms, and applications. You cannot build something too high up on the stack without having a solid foundation on the lower things. And with that, I would like to ask Claudio to come up on stage now and talk briefly about your industry and what challenges you see, and also how that can be challenged with blockchain solutions.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. So yesterday night at the party, at the reception, I heard a guy after a few drinks stating that he was keen to tokenize his wife. Now, I don't believe that industry is ripe for disruption yet, so I will not mention it. However, I'll argue that it's time to tokenize emotions. So what are emotions? Emotions are triggered by specific objects or songs or video or images, so items, as well as experiences, very special moments in our lives. Let me step back for 25 years or so back in time in the 20th century to give you an example. When I was a kid, I was a keen collector of limited edition vinyl records. So I was crazy about vinyl records, so I would bring this record to concerts of my favorite stars, and my dream was to get them to sign an autograph on the very vinyl records. Okay, that was the 20th century. So nowadays, fun is mostly digital. So the industry I'm aiming at is the digital entertainment industry. So one issue we see with industry today is that they lack any kind of strong notion of ownership and authenticity and limited edition. So the vinyl thing was about collecting. The value driver of collecting are strong sense of ownership and scarcity, limited edition. It's not for everybody. Today's the digital industry doesn't provide these notions. So we believe the time is ripe and there is a market pull for building these notions into the digital world. So we are deploying smart contracts which turn a piece of premium digital content, which could be a video, an image, or a 3D model, or a virtual reality scene, into a true limited edition collectible. How we do it? We deploy on the Ethereum Smart blockchain tokens which represent licenses to access the content, and they are also ownership certificates in limited edition, controlled numbers. So this license will give you access to the content, and they can also be traded between collectors via the blockchain. But that's not enough, because I told you, so that sounds like the analog of having a limited edition vinyl records. But that's not the whole story, because I wanted to get an autograph on that very day at the concert, and we are building the digital analog also of that experience, because we have developed a small proof of attendance protocol that allows you to certify your attendance to a specific event, so you get a sort of a signature on the collectible if you attend that concert, if you attend that football match, and that stays and it's written on the blockchain. So that's
good.
our
Okay, good. Thanks
point.
Thanks a lot.
You.
So let's discuss a little bit later also now how you approach this and how you can tokenize and what was not possible before. Now, Mark, please. Looking from the outside, running, you're part of a crypto fund, AG, so you also see this from an outside perspective.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for this great event, bringing people from all over the world to Zug, to the Crypto Valley. I think that's great. And I'm happy to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about our activities. I'm originally a tech entrepreneur, founded my first web company in 1999. Good old days. It was the main constraint that people were not online back then, so it was definitely a little bit a different time. And since then, I founded and exited 2 own companies. In 2010, I became a mainly fintech investor. So back then, it was similar, like in 1999 with the internet. The financial industry will never gonna change. And now, standing here representing crypto activities, among others, I'm in the board of Crypto Finance, which runs the crypto fund, the first big institutional fund which brings traditional investors into the crypto world. And I think today we're at a similar point like in 1999 in the digital space and back in 2010 in the fintech space, that I think everybody knows that something's gonna change, but nobody really knows what it will be. I'm very sure, I'm not as bullish as the speaker before me that 30% of global GDP will run on blockchain in 5 years from now, but I'm very, very confident that we see a huge shift from the traditional industry, which will be tokenized, mainly the whole asset class, asset management industry, and crypto assets will become a new asset class emerging because it has so many advantages and has a potential to really change the actual status quo. So for me, blockchain and based on that, cryptocurrencies are one of the first real use cases of the first digital revolution wave, which started around 1999, and which brings one of the first real use cases now in the fintech world, and that's why I think it's great to be here. And we are looking forward for a huge momentum and a lot of changes and take part of it with our fund. And I think in 1 or 2 years from now, we will have a completely different discussion.
So one quick question is also about the tokenization of assets. So this thing, how quickly do you see this play out? So right now we're at a stage where crypto assets exist. Next step, I guess, is to tokenize digital assets. And the last step will be to tokenize real-world assets. So
I think that's already happening. I mean, we're still in a very blurry situation regarding legal framework and regulatory framework, but I mean, as we speak, the world is getting tokenized. It goes far beyond just digital assets and digital services. So I think it's just a matter of how fast and in which regulatory framework we will see the tokenization of the real world.
Okay, okay, thanks. So Robert, please.
Thanks.
What's your industry, if we start with that?
Payments, of course. Hi everyone, my name is Robert Więcko and I have a pleasure and privilege work as a Dash project manager and serve as a Dash core team group member. And we are in the payments industry. Actually, I think that we are leaders in the blockchain-based payments solutions. Why is that? It is because we are focusing on customers and on merchants at the same time. We are offering something what is really unique there. For example, for customers, we do offer the lowest fees on the market. You all know what is the current fee of Bitcoin, right? What is it today? How much? For Bitcoin? I believe it's more like $20 or $10. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there are some inefficiencies, right, with this, and we just managed to release our new solution that decreases the fee for the transaction below the level of 1 cent. 1 cent per lower than 1 cent per transaction. We offer also instant confirmation, so you have your transaction confirmed after a second or 2 seconds, which makes it really easy to use. Also, we are offering something for our merchants. Our merchants have APIs to integrate Dash easy, to not have to deal with all of these complicated implementations. And we are also offering for them a support team to resolve the issues, to answer questions, and to make it easier for them.
So, and the road to disruption, so what is the element where you can say that you disrupted the payments industry?
I think this is what we are working at the moment. We are working on simplification from user perspective. We are working on decentralized web wallet that will offer an user account, like username, password-based user account when you can store all of your information along the all devices.
And so the other big part, I guess, for all blockchain adoption is the interface.
Yeah.
So how is it about also not only that, but interoperability between Dash systems and all other blockchain systems, and when can that work together to really make a change in the real world?
Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about API. API will allow you to integrate Dash very easily. We are offering API, and we will offer SDKs for developers to interchange the information.
Is Dash the only solution to really disrupt the payment industry?
I believe yes. Yeah, I believe yes.
Okay.
That's why I do what I do.
Okay, yeah, great, thanks.
Thank you.
So, Angel, please. So first of all, your industry now.
So our industry is supply chain, and what we want to disrupt is specifically assurance of quality, safety, and origins of products. So we're looking at the way that you can trace objects through the supply chain and can trust, what actually you learn about those objects. So right now we have a lot of food that we consume or medicine that we take. We have to trust the labels about the information on that product. What went into it, where it came from, is it organic or not? And every day you get more and more scandals. Just a couple of days ago, there was a Thanksgiving in America, coupled with a huge scandal that Whole Foods was selling turkey labeled as organic, and it had a bunch of FDA-banned ingredients in it and so on. And you have these stories nearly on a daily basis. So from that perspective, we all eat food, we all consume medicine, etc. So it's a life essential product. It's as close as it can get to our bodies, and at the same time we have no idea what's going into it, and there is no reliable party to assure that. The governments are supposed to do inspections, and they're failing every day. The manufacturers are not even incentivized to do it because they're only trying to reduce the costs or stay ahead of others or even cheat. And then distributors and supply chain elements also, they're not necessarily motivated. So what we intend to provide is a platform where there is a trust in the supply chain and specifically in the products that follow it. And we actually achieve that through creating an ecosystem where we can create an opportunity for honest producers or for organic producers to actually earn more money if they're opening up their supply chains to the end consumers.
So you think that is also the way to break into the whole supply chain business, to find one specific use case?
So that's our bet that we're making on specifically quality assurance. So the supply chain is, of course, a complex industry and has a lot of different issues and problems, and it's very opaque, and there are a number of powerful actors who don't want such a solution to emerge. A lot of companies really hate us. They wish we hadn't existed, really. But at the same time, there is a big demand, and there are more and more people who are actually saying, I'd rather pay for a solution that could offer me that certainty.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, Roger.
Roger, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Roger. I'm the CEO of Datum. And so we're creating a decentralized marketplace for data. And we're allowing individuals and companies alike to safely store data and securely share or sell access to that data. And so we've created quite a big user movement. We have over 70,000 people around the hashtag #TakeBackYourData. Through the Datum app that we're creating, we allow individuals to take back your data ownership and then monetize it. And you can see William Shatner, Captain Kirk, on our website, datum.org, if you want to find out more. But I want to tell a bit about the challenges that we found while developing this decentralized app. So we've been in development for about 6 months now, and the first big topic is usability. So it was also already mentioned briefly. Our prototypes still take over 1 minute to do any transaction. That's a reality nowadays on the Ethereum network. And if all of these ICOs that are basically going to revolutionize the world or their sector, if they can work, this problem needs to be fixed, either with Ethereum or through other third-party solutions. And then another big topic that we see is all these tokens that come out. And we are actually partnering with a few other blockchain projects, helping them unlock the value in their data. But we need to find ways to exchange these tokens amongst us. And so that's where we need something like a decentralized exchange. And there are a few projects working on that. But we see that's really going to be critical in the next year, because no one of us will walk around and have 1,000 different tokens in their wallet and actively use those. So in our belief, tokens are going to take a step back. They're still powering the infrastructure, but it's not necessarily what the end user cares about. And in order to make this happen, we need to have a way to swap tokens between projects, and that can't be a centralized exchange if we want to stay true to the decentralized spirit of the blockchain.
That's perfect. I think for a few last minutes now, also to discuss now the thank you. So, because now you mentioned tokens, now there's a jungle of tokens out there. So, when approaching all these old projects, but also in other industries now, is there room for a token for everything? Mark, if you would like to start.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, it's all about the use case. I think we're still in a phase where we talk mainly about technology and the stuff behind. I think at the end, it's all about the use case and is there a business case? And I think as soon as you create the real demand, and if there is a USP for a certain token or a use case of a token, I think then it makes sense to tokenize it. If it's just to tokenize whatever you want to do and just use tokens for everything without any inner meaning, I think then it's worthless. And that's why I would really go for the use case and less and far less about the technology behind.
So, Angel, what's your minimum product that you can release, or what's with your token in place? What's the minimum use case for a token in your system?
So the basic use case for our token is that it becomes like a birth certificate for a product as well as history of its life. So the token becomes like an identifier that is attached to a particular product, and as the product is moving alongside the supply chain, new events generated by sensors are recorded pertaining to that particular product, and then the end recipient gets the product together with the token, and in that token has a series of transactions from sensors, where the product came from, what was the temperature of storage, who were the intermediaries handling it, and so on. So you get this data associated with it.
So the follow-on question now, in a wider industry perspective, then how can you use this token and combine it with other supply chain solutions?
Sorry, I didn't quite get it.
Because there are many other projects. So I think this is a perfect, in a way, collection of different projects now. We represent payments, supply chains, digital assets, and data, personal data storage. But in a general sense, in the whole industry. So what I can see for all of us here is that there will be tokens, and they will need to be combined with different ones, because there will be many operators in each of these sectors and industries. So how can you combine your tokens with other ones in this area? Or is that even...
Well, for our use cases, that's not necessary, because we provide one use case. For example, when it comes to payment settlement, we can simply transfer payments in Ether, Bitcoin, or tokenized fiat currencies. So for that purpose, we don't need to use our token. And so far, you only need payments and usage of system. For payments, you use currencies, and for usage of the platform, you use Amber.
Yeah, so how's that situation for you, Roger?
So we're building our system in two parts. So the marketplace part could actually work with a different data storage network. There's many big projects, Filecoin, Storage, CR Coin, and so on. So yeah, I mean, we're definitely open to this possibility. And I do believe next year that's kind of where the future lies, right? In the integration of these projects, because really standalone, it's too much for a user to handle, right? We just want to have the functionality, but we need to have some sort of abstraction layer on the top to make it easy.
Yeah. So, and also for you now, Claudio, then, so what are you launching with? What is the minimum product or viable network, really, that you can launch with?
Right. Well, the minimum viable product can be demonstrated right here and now. We call our proof of attendance protocol Me Here and Now. And in fact, if you go to our stand and get the link to install our Unica Collector app, you get checked in by the system as an attendant to this very conference, and you get a proof of attendance. Now, that's an MVP, which is not yet linked to the main Ethereum blockchain, but it's coming.
Yeah. So, and Robert, so for you, what do you think about industry disruption also? Which ones do you think we will see next?
For me, it's actually payments. Because not because I do payments, right? But payments are connecting majority of those tokens, right? And I believe that, referring to your previous questions, I believe in market. And market will be the ultimate, like a judge. Market will verify whether we need a lot of tokens or just a few of them. And I'm sure that smart people will find a way to integrate them, to like interchange information between the different blockchains or how to integrate blockchains.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So, Mark, where do you see industry disruption happening next?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's across industry development. I mean, at the end, smart contracts will change the whole legal setup. I think that's sure for everybody. As I said in the beginning, I think it has a lot to do with regulation and law. So I think it's not just the technology, it's also the adaptation, and at the end also society. I mean, we together have to decide what do we want to change and tokenize and what will somehow stay old-fashioned, but I think normally technology always wins.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thanks a lot. So I think our time is up. Yeah, so thank you all for coming, and this was all great. So we're all around here later also. So
extra time now, right?
Catch us out in the next break also. Thank you.
Super stuff. Thank you so much. Let's give him another hand, can we? Okay, we have made everybody move on stage, and I have made no requests at all from any of you. So I'm going to ask you to do something, because this is the hottest part. This is when it gets really, really tough, when we get to pick one winner. So you're not going to like me for doing this, but I can't see anyone past like the first 4 or 5 rows because it's all dark. So I'm going to ask you to all do something. Can you all stand up and move forward? And let's fill up all of these rows here, okay? So everyone just get up. Everyone just get up if you're in the back rows and move forward. I know you don't want to because you're comfortable with your laptops and you're tweeting and you're Instagramming and you're not even paying attention, but just move up. If everyone can move up, please, that'd be amazing. And we're going to get the show on the road. You guys here, you're okay. You're okay in the front row. So well done. There we go. Look at all these really nice people, compliant people moving forward. Stephen, you're not moving. I see you over there, and you're not moving. You're just sitting over there. Lawyers, right? Can't make them do things. So, you object. I object to you objecting. So move forward, fill up the space. When I come back, I want to see all these middle rows filled in. Look, I see all these red gaps. It just makes me really sad, and I'm not even presenting. If I was a startup, I wouldn't want to see these holes in the middle. So move in, move in, move in. There's plenty of space. I know you all bought the regular ticket, but I'm giving you a free upgrade to the VIP seating up in front. Right now, this is the Dan Ram discount and gift, VIP seating all the way up in front. So the seats are better here. So move up closer. We good? Woo! Okay, so I'm really excited because the jury have been working hard. Guys, can we put our hands together for the jury? Come on, let's hear it. So, Vasiliy here is the president of the jury. I'm sure it's very difficult. You don't have a microphone, so I'm going to take this from you. Thank you so much.
It's a precious, be gentle.
It's precious, be gentle. Have a seat. Thank you for doing this. So just a quick recap for those of you who are joining us on live stream and those of you who are joining us for this last part of the show. We went from over 100 applications to 10 applications to the final 3 applications that are in here to win the golden prize of $100,000 US. The top 3 also get incubation space here in Crypto Valley, so in some ways everybody's a winner. Plus they've all pitched to you, so hopefully they got some fans on Twitter and all of that, so support them. All right, in no particular order, I am going to announce the final 3 startups that will be coming up on stage. Number 1 is Loyalty Coin. Thanks, man. Have a seat. Yep. Okay, number 2 is Shield It and Hugo. All right. There are 2 Hugos. I will explain what's going on there, because I only announced one name and 2 of them showed up. And number 3 is Dennis from Reportix. All right, well done, well done. They're all being pally-pally right now, but they're about to be competing head-to-head. Here's what's different this time. They get 8 minutes. These guys get 3 minutes to ask questions. Also, the reason there's 2... Sorry, what's your name? Paul? Yep. Welcome to the stage, man. So the difference is they had the option to bring 1 or 2 members. So Shielded have decided to bring a second member. These guys have chosen to present yet again. Question is, jury, you guys ready? Fantastic. Are there mics on? Because I did not hear that. Yes. Let's try that again. Jury, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready. Audience, you guys ready? Yeah. I don't know. It's like afternoons are tough, aren't they? Like, you guys are probably asleep in the office at this point. Anyway, these guys are super, super excited to be pitching and to be presenting. So first up, we're actually going to get Dennis. Are you ready? All right. Let me find the clicker. Do we have Reportix up there? We do. Fantastic. You got 8 minutes, and your time starts right now.
Thank you. So the insurance sector has evolved over the last decade quite a bit. It started from only paper-based conclusions of insurance policies. You got paper-based certificates sent out, and it's even used today a lot. But then also it evolved already a bit, so you can already find some applications that you can use to sign up for contracts, so it becomes more dynamic and more individual. But that's not the end, so it's going even further, and maybe in the future we look at completely machine-to-machine business in the industry of Industry 4.0 or the Internet of Things. So you could, for example, imagine a cargo container that is ensuring the freight automatically without any human interference. And for the more dynamic part, for the future part, you need a lot more trust, you need a lot more proof. And for this, we have built EverContract, which is distributed ledger based, to actually give you that trust. And if you look at the insurance ecosystem, it's very diverse, so that's perfect for a distributed ledger. So if you put a distributed ledger in the middle, all of those participants can actually profit. You get a single source of truth, you get a very high efficiency across the whole value chain, and also you have no media disruption, which you would get if you have just paper-based contracts or PDF. Now, why don't we just use classic smart contracts? Let's look at how they are implemented. Now, if you look at the blockchain implementation, it always has an immutable part, and it has the actual blockchain implementation. And on the immutable part, the smart contract is stored data plus code. And this has a huge advantage, which is that the execution is immutable and unstoppable. That's great. But there's also a huge disadvantage of that, and that is that the execution is immutable and unstoppable. And the reason is that
you must actually not base contracts on their execution. That's a fundamental thing of most legal systems in the world, because it contradicts the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. So the human interpretation is what actually counts, not the execution of the contract. And that's a big problem for complex contracts. But also, a disadvantage is that it's written in code. So it can only be read by programmers. So you could ask, is it really smart? Is it even a contract? Now, the way we implemented it is we are using a non-proprietary standard, which is called iXperience, that has been developed over the last almost 20 years. It's very mature. And with that, we can define extensible Ricardian contracts. And those Ricardian contracts are human-readable and machine-readable. So we define this contract, and then inside of that contract, you can actually tag the information that's in there, which then can be read by machines. It is also readable by non-programmers, which is very important. It looks like a common legal contract. You can print it, put it side by side to a real contract, and you will see absolutely no difference. It's machine readable because it has this tag data that can be read. And the most important thing is not proprietary. So there are already a lot of tools out there to work with this. Now here's an example that you have seen earlier. And what you can also do with this standard is that you can actually automatically validate that contract. So you can check the dates in there. You can check the address. You can check if things add up, if there's a summation in there. And also, we are allowing a very fine granular access of the data that's in there. So we have a standard API that looks like actually SQL. You can say, give me the premium of policy XYZ, and you get the premium. You don't have to load the whole contract for that. So it gives you fine granular access to the actual data, which helps you integrate into existing systems. Now, what about extensibility? If a contract gets stored on one node, it gets validated and then distributed across the ledger. On the other nodes, there can be a completely different validation. That's the extensibility. For example, if you validate an address, you can check the syntax of that address. You can check that the address exists. And you can also check if the person actually lives at that address. So there are different levels of validity checks, which depends on the background of the information that you have. And also, there's a privacy issue. So not all of the nodes in the distributed ledgers should be able to read every information. So we allow that by using private channels in that ledger. And let's look at how extensible Ricardian contracts are actually implemented. Because here's the blockchain implementation. Again, you have the immutable part and the blockchain implementation. And on the immutable part, we store the data, the legal prose, and some declarative code which needs to be interpreted. So we strip away the execution from the immutable part and put it on the actual blockchain implementation, which is the interpretation of the code. This allows real separation of concerns, and so even a court can interfere again, and that's more like the real world. The implementation is based on Hyperledger, and here's the quote from Joy Ito. He said, blockchain will be to banking and law what the internet was to media. It's a great statement, because I love this comparison to the internet, and I would like to stretch it even a bit more. Because before, the predecessor of the internet was something called BTX. That's what's used also in Switzerland. And in the US, it was called ARPANET, and this wasn't very successful. And then they started to make it decentralized, and they put a standard on top of the protocol stack, which was actually HTML. And then the internet took really off, because it became very broadly applicable for many use cases, and the data was accessible. And that's exactly what we are doing here. We have the protocol stack, which is blockchain, and we put a standard on top. So blockchain without standardized data is like the internet without HTML. So let's put standardized data on blockchain and stop putting proprietary data on blockchain to make it accessible, interoperable, and the holy grail of insurance. Thank you.
Okay. I'll take the remote. With even 30 seconds to spare, who's got a question first? Yes, we'll go to you, Mathias.
So you're saying that existing smart contracts, they are not able to capture the complexity of life insurance or insurance policies?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, yes.
Been
clarified. That's one part of it, I mean, yeah.
Christian?
So you mentioned that recurring contracts are there since 20 years. So, but I do not know so much companies which are using it. Do you have any idea why?
So it's not recurring contracts are there for 20 years. It's the standard that's there for 20 years. Recurring contracts are less. It's still very hard to work with it. You need to have the expertise, which we have. So you should work with us, and then you're fine. So.
That's a good answer. All right, Vasiliy?
So I think you made a great argument about closed systems and how people actually benefit from an open ecosystem, but at the same time you base your solution on Hyperledger, right? And Hyperledger is a private network, right? And you need to have people agree to run Hyperledger, right? So if they run something like Quorum or Corda or Ethereum, they are missing out, right? So I think that's a big problem. So how easy is it for you to pivot to support Solidity, for example, and how do you deal with that problem?
I think it's just possible to do that, and we haven't fixed that yet, or we haven't implemented that yet, but I think it's possible. And I mean, not putting standardized data is also not a solution, right? So it's better to take the standardized data, whether it's on Hyperledger or on Ethereum. So I don't have a favorite.
There's a follow-up here.
So then, I would really like to challenge your choice of Hyperledger, right? Because even though Hyperledger does have a new functionality in version 1.0 to have the private channels, the private channel mechanism is really non-flexible, right? Because in reality, in real world, when companies deal with contracts, they have many-to-many relationships, and these relationships will change, and depending on the constellation or counterparties to a particular contract, you will need actually lots and lots of different channels to cater to that problem, and that's a known problem in existing Hyperledger implementation. So how do you deal with that? Because moving information between the channels actually breaks the decentralization aspect and the trust aspect.
Just go and pause there. Do you have a response to that?
I have, yes, if you allow.
Real quick, 15 seconds, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, but in the end, it's something that also evolves, right? For now, it's enough for us, but it will not be enough in 10 years. But also the technology improves, so we just count on that.
All right, thank you so much. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Okay, so from Shielded, who's presenting? Are you both presenting at the same time? Why don't you both come on up? Who's going to hold the remotes? You're going to hold the remotes. All right, double trouble. Here we go. 8 minutes on the clock. Let them turn over their pieces of paper. Jury's ready. Your 8 minutes starts right now.
So, hello again, and thank you for helping us to move forward in this competition. Before we get started, let me recap a bit what we talked in the first speech. So we want to bring a new insurance. An insurance by customers for customers, with no intermediaries, which allow us to drastically reduce the cost for the end user. An insurance where inside a community, you can decide on the rule for which you want to vote on. Let me make that a bit less abstract. Think about a community of users that wants to insure phone, which value ranges between $500 and $800. Anyone has an iPhone 10 in the room? Yes? That's too bad. You're not going to be able to be part of that team. Well, then rules. What do I mean by rules? Think about water damage. This is something that you may not want to cover inside your team, so you guys can vote and say, okay, we will not cover water damages. This is the main differentiating aspects of our community, is that you can customize it to your needs. But then you may wonder, what are the challenges to creating such a community? So I'm sure that all of you had the opportunity to share a common pot of money, for example, with friends during a travel. Well, that's easy to create trust with your friends. How do you do that with a large community of people that you may or may not know? So we need to make sure that no one is going to have an opportunistic behavior. No one can steal money from the common pot. But also we want to make sure that no one goes against the consensus, that once we voted a claim to be reimbursed, no one's going to say, no, I withhold the fund because I don't agree with the result of the vote. Finally, you want to make sure that everyone follows the same rules, that everyone votes based on the same rules. So we spent all this month working in order to find a solution that would not use a third trusted parties, because that would be the standard way to solve this problem, but that would also mean that we're just like any standard entrance. So in 4 months, we designed how the community will be managed, and we used a tool that's very common among blockchain enthusiasts, and this is Ethereum smart contracts. The contract is a piece of code that will manage all the administrative tasks of the community. It will compute the entry price such that the community lasts for 1 year. It will compute all the statistics to help people vote on given claim. It will reimburse the claimant when the vote is positive. All of this without the need for an intermediary. The contract isn't biased by its own interests. It just reacts to community decisions. And again, no more intermediaries, less cost. All of this happened in a transparent way. You can go and look at the code of the contract along with a human-readable English description of how it reacts to events.
So I wouldn't really be surprised if right now you tell me the system looks a bit abstract to you, right? So I would like to go through a really simple example and see how it works practically. Every year, new users arrive, and the contract is going to compute how much money each of these users have to pay to get insured and get into community. So they all will pay this amount of money, and now the contract is the only actor in the system to hold the funds. Suppose now that Jane, yesterday, got her phone stolen in the subway, so she will collect data, proofs, documents, along with a really precise description of what happened, and send this to the contract. The contract now will pick a random sample of users. These are responsible to vote for the claim. So they should decide in a limited amount of time whether or not they have to accept the claim. Suppose now that, for our example, the claim is accepted, the procedure is over. Jane is going to get her money back. Now I would like to talk a bit about rules, and this is an important topic in our case because one cannot expect to follow the same rules for a phone or for a bicycle, right? It doesn't make sense for a bike to get water damage. So this is why we introduce the concept of teams. A team is basically a sub-community which has to decide on a common set of rules that they have to follow when the new claims come. So such that each user play by the same rules. This is what makes the system really customizable to users' needs, to users' beliefs. And this is what allows them to just insure any good. But they have to remember an important point, because when there is no money, there is no more insurance. So they have to vote in a smart way, such that they are insured as long as possible, but at the same time, they cannot just bash each other and say no all the time, because this is going to be reflected on the statistics, and it's going to be impossible for them to get money back when they need to. But there is even more. The community, the system, just like good wine, it gets better as it ages. The community, the system learns from different statistics in order to always propose the best offer as possible, which means that any user is guaranteed to always pay the best price, no more, no less. And the system is scalable. The more users, the less risk. The more users, the less each user has to vote for a given claim. So this peer-to-peer insurance scheme, which needs interaction from users, will more and more look like a regular or standard insurance where interaction is actually not required.
So because the system is going to behave like a standard insurance, we thought that the most appropriate way to charge user was to charge a fee on their entry price. That would allow us to have continuous cash flows, but also growing revenues as the community gets larger and larger. We decided in the first phase to launch a preliminary version where we would not charge any fee to users. Therefore, all the fund that they put in the contract is used for claim reimbursement. Then, you may have guessed that our system cannot be used to insure any good. Think about car crashes or health insurance with cancer. Those are life or death situations, and you cannot expect a singular user to vote on such claim. That's why we think that we can use real insurance experts. And to leverage this complementarity, we decided in a second phase to offer a partnership with an insurance that would allow them to leverage this new radical innovation to differentiate from their competitors, but also to attract all the users we attracted as the first phase. Then you may still wonder, why should you trust two 23-year-old master's students? Well, remember that today we're trying to give you a very high-level explanation of what we did. But all of this was done under the supervision of Arjen Lenstra, a very famous cryptologist at EPFL. This is him, and he's very popular for a very funny reason. He bought 220 PlayStation 3 in order to crack even the more complex cryptographic algorithm. When he was done with that, he didn't throw them away or just sold them. He gave them away for free to students, and that indeed made him very popular. You'll see the QR code of our GitHub repo here, and you can go, and we really encourage you to do it, to see the white paper, all the web app that we did, the prototype, and along with all the presentation that we realized. So we spent a long time developing something into which we deeply believe. It is now your turn to make a difference. It is now time to go and build a company that would help us bring this product to market. It is now time to build a larger team to accompany us toward this long journey. Now we need to talk with insurance experts. We need to study users to fit the product to the market. All of this to bring you a new insurance, fast, reliable, connected, fitted to your needs, but most importantly, at the exact right cost it should be. No more, no less. We would like to thank you very much for your attention, and we hope that we've given you a taste for a future where technology can help us build trust among people. We know that 10 minutes is not enough, and we hope you have questions for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice. Well done. Thank you. Stay right here. Who wants to go first? All right, let's go with you, Martin.
How will you build up this community? How would you approach them?
How would we approach them? Well, first of all, the idea is to, I think, target people that are really tech enthusiasts, because the first people that are going to work with us are just people that understand the blockchain and how it works. So I think we should go mostly into all the forum that are based on cryptocurrency and people that are into it, to propose them this new system, because it's really about, we talked about it, being part of a greater community, to be the actor of tomorrow. So I think that this is how we would try to approach them. Stefan?
If you let the insurance company handle the claims, then I don't see the value of your partnership. What's your offer then?
So what I was saying is not that the insurance company would handle the claim, it's just that there is not all goods that we can insure. We're just saying that in a second time, we would propose to the insurance company to pay the fee for its customers, but to still provide the service without being a central referee. They would just provide it to differentiate and pay the fee because they can attract all those users, but at the same time, this is a niche market that's not attractive for them, because those goods that have no real value for them to insure.
Vasiliy?
Yeah, so let's imagine you guys are really, really successful, right? And you have, I don't know, millions of users are using your system. So then how do you deal with what you store on-chain, what do you store off-chain, right? The cost, the scalability, all these aspects. Please cover that.
So this is one of the main technical difficulty that we're still handling. Nevertheless, because the community is growing larger and larger, the probability that you will actually call the contract and you're going to be the one to actually have the cost on you is very small. So we're now trying to spread that among people so that he can get reimbursed by other user when he actually makes this call that provokes such fees. But it's still something that we're working on and we're aware of it.
Last question, Mathias?
First of all, I want to know where you learned to pitch like that. I want to go there. Secondly, I heard the word community like a dozen times, right? And when it comes to building a community and to have an active community, that's one of the hardest things, to achieve. So when you talk about these mechanisms that you have in place, is this pure theory? Is that something that you have, on a concept level, or did you actually, try it out? Did you have tests?
Sorry. So yeah, indeed, I told you we wrote this white paper of 45 pages, which was a lot of mess and a lot of complications. But indeed, we do have a smart contract along with a web application. We did not choose to demonstrate here today because we decided to focus on car deductibles for this application and then wanted to broaden that to any single good. But yes, we do have the community that works. We have yet to test it with beta tester and to try to adapt it better. And that's why here we ask you for your help, because now it's time to invest some money into it. And we're just 2 students, as you said, and we eat pasta every day. So funding such kind of application is still very complicated.
Thank you. Excellent stuff. All right, have a seat. All right. Next up, we got Thomas. Come on up. Let's give him a hand. Come on, let's give him a hand. Feel good?
Yeah, very good. Hello.
I know you can't feel it over there, but firm handshake, good energy. This man's ready to go. You got 8 minutes on the clock. You guys ready? Fantastic. Your time starts right now.
Hello again, everybody. So let's start to get a bit energy here. Let's make a little survey. Who of you all is a member of a loyalty program? Hands up. Okay, everybody more or less. Who of you have more than 5 programs? Less. Okay. Average says in America they have 15 programs, but actually, are you happy with that programs? No, right, exactly. So you get cards, and when you actually go to the shop, you say, shit, I forgot it at home, right? And actually what they give you, they send you some kind of bonuses for products that you don't need, right? So it's not very, very attractive what they offer you. It's like fragmented. You have to go there several times to get something. It's diluted. My miles and more when I was a consultant are worthless today. And it's not really actually done for me. I don't feel it personalized. It's coming some kind of journal. Imagine you can change that. And the good news is, well, Loyalty Kern tries to change that. So I got the question, why insurance? Why should the insurance join us, right, in the first panel? Let me elaborate a little bit on this one. So you have an insurance and you buy insurance. Let's say you have a car insurance, right? So I buy my car insurance, and today I get a discussion with my agent about the price. So he say, I give you an additional 10 francs rebate because you're so good customer. Then obviously everybody smart goes on the internet, checks for another price and comes back and say, but in Mougayar I get it cheaper, so look what you can do. And say, okay, because you're so good, I give you 20 francs more. It's a bit higher, but my risk that I cover is better, the service is better, and so. So it's all about price at the end, and you obviously try to convince the customer. Imagine you can give the customer something that's the same value, but it's something that he can use for you. So he gets your Balua Sicherheitsbausteine or PAX points or Helsana health points, everything tailored to yourself, right? So now I can actually use them and say, that's great. I actually want to buy another product of Baluas, so I use it for that immediately. So actually I have an incentive to buy more products, right? Cross-sale. Or I say, no, but I actually need a new pair of shoes. You probably see that, yeah. So I actually exchange them on our app, and I go to the shop and I use them immediately. But you won't lose a customer. You don't pay me the shoes. I do an exchange decentralized with another customer that actually maybe just is on our app looking for a new car insurance, get the 20 francs reduction and goes on the web. Now you can even go and link directly to your online insurance. I make my insurance, I get my 20 francs, no strings attached. You get the contract and I'm happy as a client. But you can also say, okay, let's make him a link to my agent. And you get suddenly a customer that is activated because I have my 20 francs voucher and I come there and I say, I want to buy your insurance. Here I get a reduction. There's less discussion about price, there's actually a discussion about product. This is our real life app, as I told you. The red ones are our 4 shops in Zurich. The blue ones is a hypothetical injury company that could be your insurance or whatever, or the shop. You see, we brand it the way that you are. So the moment that the customer is in the shop, buys something, the whole app changes to your branding. So as a customer, you feel like in home. And you can see, I see my injury company points there, and I can even go to a brand universe with links to the website, with the web shop, and so on. So we are basing that on 3 core pillars. First, the app. Simple to use for customer, you can collect. You can actually use benefits of blockchain just by clicking. Then we have the blockchain. Blockchain enables us to make this decentralized trust between customers and you, each of the partner programs, doesn't need any contractual liability with each other. You have your program, your liability, it's fixed. And then the customer can choose. The third one is point of sale. So in our current partner, we have a device, a Raspberry Pi, where the seller gives the points, identify yourself. But we can also integrate with your web shop or with your shop. Here you see our real market order book, real time. That's the exchange book between phase 8 pearls and dune stars, which actually is happening. You see we have over 2 million blocks witnesses already. Actually, right now it's 2.5 million, I just checked before. And what is the advantage of the blockchain we use? I told you, real exchange. So I exchange your insurance point in front of the shop. I get it real time on my flower shop, I say, remember, happy wife, and or in my shoe shop. And then I go into shop immediately, real time, and I use this reward immediately. So real time is a benefit of advantage. The second one is no contractual limitation. And the third one, of course, is it's decentralized, so it's able to bring your liquidity on the market globally, and it's also able to find a market price. That's how the app is. Just by clicking on the button, as a user, you can already start using blockchain in Zurich live. Please do that. So how do we actually use the blockchain? We believe that privacy of your data and of the retailer's data is very important. So a retailer will never allow you to publicly present the sales data. And you won't like that I can actually check when you bought what kind of product, right? So you have a certain privacy. And this privacy issue we rule, and we believe strongly, that needs a solution. So what we actually use the exchange for is the blockchain for is to exchange the points, to make this decentralized exchange. Everything else, the collection, the redemption, is off-chain. We are a team very happy and excited, very proud to grow an ecosystem here that can actually fuel more sales. And if you are part of it and help us grow it, you will get more of these sales and the network effect will start. We are live, as I told you. Next step is funding. We are currently in discussion with the Swiss authority, help from MME that you heard before. We plan in January. If you're interested, go on our website. White paper is there. If not, come to me, speak with me. We invite you all to join and grow our ecosystem. Let's recap for a moment what's in it for you as insurers. So yes, maybe make a quick poll. How many of you have loyalty programs from an insurer? 1, 2, yeah, you have your own, I know. 3, 4, no, not so many, right? Why? Because it's not so attractive, and you told me yourself, it's not so easy to bring these loyalty programs to your, insurance you buy once a year, it's not so emotional. So let's help you do that. You're gonna be part of an ecosystem, you're gonna be part of shopping shoes, and you get suddenly this kind of emotion. You get better understand your customer, so you can understand that I actually go climbing, and then I go to Chile, and I maybe buy a bit too much alcohol, so you can offer me, and sometimes I like to go to concerts, so maybe you offer me a Baloise concert ticket, and I will then all switch my contracts to you. Join us, come to Zurich to the shops, and I'm happy, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa, don't go anywhere. Come here.
Questions. Go ahead.
Yes. Stefan and Mathias. Yes, Stefan.
Have you talked to insurance company about your proposal, and what was their reaction?
So we started a year ago. We started our pilot in September. Insurance companies, you are the first. But I believe strongly that for you we are attractive. Why we haven't spoken before is, when you have a platform, it's easy to come to you because then it's going to be very attractive for you. Right now, we have a shoe company and a dress company. So you will tell me, but what is interesting? Well, we have girls between 30 years and 70 years. For health insurance, very attractive crowd, right? 40 to 70. So, we are building an ecosystem where you have seen it, a couple of 100 customers every week more, but it's growing. So not yet in that stage.
Follow-up question, was this your go-to-market approach now?
Yes. So
steps, milestones?
Yeah. So we are actually, the first step that we did is we learned by by checking our stability of the product, and then seeing, okay, we have women between 30 and 70. So first thing is I onboarded a friend of me, a girl of 38 years. Now we're creating this platform about the community in Zurich. But obviously we need to grow. We are 7 people, 3, 4 of them are actually full-time. And I would like to invite you to help us, like speak that and grow.
Nice try pitching to the insurance people. All right,
Yeah.
Mathias.
You told me that you have 4 people on the payroll. How have you been funded so far? Was that your own money? And can you elaborate on your future funding strategy? I saw there was a TGE plan.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Very happy. So we are 7 founders. We put our own money in.
How much?
7 founders.
How much money?
110K. We built our AG last February, headquartered in Zug, actually. And now we were working with the money, and to be honest, there's the half left, so not much anymore. And we actually, all the enthusiasts that we were able to create are working for free right now because they believe in the product. So yes, we are in the, to be humble, we say we are in front of bankruptcy, but we have a lot of potential. So we do a TGE, right? So we want to believe that actually the TGE will fund us this journey. And yes, I mean, the TGE is built 21.
Stay here.
So
you're going back into pitch mode. And then, let me tell you,
sorry.
no, you're answering questions.
So
quick responses, Rolf, and then Vasiliy, and we're going to end there. Go for it.
So how can insurance differentiate with your solution? So you have thought that that would be an interesting case for insurance, but how can they differentiate that?
That's very good. I believe, together with your insurance, you can actually create a new community, digital, innovative. You get a new client around that. So I believe that when you join our platform, you're going to have something new to offer to your clients.
Last question.
Yeah, I have 2 in 1, I guess. If I remember correctly, you're using Graphene or BitShares 2.0, and currently it's not in a public mode, right? You're just running it yourself, basically. So, and now you're also talking about TGE, so obviously you're going to be issuing some sort of coin, I guess utility coin, so which is probably happens on top of Ethereum. Yeah. So, well, what's your path forward? How are you going to migrate from a private mode to the public mode? And how are you going to bring the coin into the whole ecosystem so you have, one technology sort of supporting you?
So, completely true. We have a utility token, ERC20 Ether, that we're going to sell in the TGE. Then you have a one-on-one exchange once we're ready. That will be in Q2 2018 because we're going to audit our token. Once you have the token, one-on-one, you start witnessing and start being a node of the blockchain. And by being this node, you actually create the ecosystem, and you're going to benefit from each exchange because there's a small exchange fee. So you're going to get a utility, a part of the utility.
Guys, let's give him a hand, please.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent stuff. Startups rise. Startups exit. Fantastic. Top 3. Woo. Dramatic music. All right, jury members, please follow the jury president. You have literally 7 minutes to get a response back to us. In the meanwhile, can we roll up on stage a beautiful pulpit, a beautiful stage? We have, as one of our partners here, Pax Insurance has been very, very involved. We're very fortunate to have the CEO talk about the future of insurance and decentralized insurance. He's going to speak, and then we're going to reveal the winners. So, watch my cue, right? This is how good our production is backstage. We're going to roll it up. Look at these lovely guys rolling it up. Fantastic. There's so much happening on stage, Roll it up. I will bring it somewhere over here. That looks like a good spot. Fantastic. Thank you. Also, there's so much that happens in here from like lights and sound and all that. Can we quickly give a hand to everyone working backstage, back over there too? Yeah. I have the lucky job of being the sexy person in front, but there's a lot of unsexy jobs back there that are absolutely vital to making this production happen. And there are some amazing people working backstage, so thank you for that. Hopefully they heard it. All right, CEO of Pax, put your hands together for Peter Kapler. All right, enjoy.
Wow, it's good to be back here. Almost 30 years ago, I went to school in Zug, and we have had some nice events in this wonderful building, so it's like coming home for me. But it's not that what I want to talk about tonight. Dear members of the jury and competition participants, ladies and gentlemen, in the name of PAX, I extend a cordial welcome to you, and I hope that the concepts presented to you today have shown you the potential of blockchain. Because it was precisely this potential that made us sit up and take notice when we heard of blockchain for the first time at PAX. There was talk of concluding insurances without an intermediary, or of practically zero-cost conclusions and the automatic processing of contracts. All these examples show that blockchain is more than just a new technology. It challenges traditional business models and has a disruptive potential that will ensure upheaval. Not only the insurance industry is affected by this, but the entire financial sector. Some experts even say that blockchain could trigger a revolution that would be similar to that caused by the internet in the 1990s. We became aware of its practical implications when we studied blockchain more intensely in the context of our jury work. The concept of smart contracts in particular offers interesting perspectives from the insurance point of view. To put it simply, contractual conditions are stored directly in a blockchain in the form of an if-then condition. And if a condition arises, the smart contract automatically implements the result quickly in a neutral manner and without the intervention of an intermediary. The application possibilities that arise from this sound almost like science fiction in parts, especially in connection with the Internet of Things, where a level of automation that was previously unknown becomes possible. For example, a motor vehicle insurance in connection with a digital car key is feasible. If the customer does not pay his premium, the smart contract could automatically block the digital key and the customer would no longer be able to enter the vehicle. What this would mean for the life insurance, I can't imagine. In addition to automation of this kind, which above all increases the efficiency and reduces costs, blockchain also makes it possible to considerably reduce insurance risk and misuse. As you can see, blockchain offers a wide range of possibilities and opportunities to insurers, but also presents new challenges because some points still need to be cleared up before the applications are accepted by the markets. Some of these points are legal, but there are also technical questions, and last but not least, the end customers must be prepared to accept and make use of the offers. Events like the blockchain competition are therefore so important. They serve as a platform for the discussion of the various ideas, for exploring the possibilities of use, but also for gauging the possible limits. And in order to support this, we have become involved in the blockchain competition. Because thanks to the blockchain competition, innovative startups are given the opportunity to develop their ideas further in a targeted manner. And we want to contribute precisely to this opportunity with our support of the blockchain competition. We are proud to be able to advance innovative insurtech ideas and bring them to market readiness through our involvement. At the same time, we are very interested in getting to know the ideas in more detail. There is a fascinating opportunity here for PAX to become involved in the development at an early stage. In this way, we obtain an insight into the possibilities of blockchain, but also come into contact with a community that stands behind these ideas. It has been particularly interesting for us that as a platinum partner, we can work together with the best team for a whole year. We thereby look forward to a lively exchange of know-how and more in-depth information about the benefits, functions and challenges of blockchain. Above all, the subjects of traditional insurance company and tech startup should lead to an interesting dialogue, a dialogue that will combine the knowledge of many years of insurance expertise with new approaches. This will result in new ideas that combine the best of both worlds. This is inspiring and also provides an impetus for our own concepts for innovative business models that are suitable for PACs. At this point, I would like to thank the organizer of the competition for the excellent cooperation. We have had a good experience and we will be very happy to continue the partnership. A word of praise is also due to the program that the organizer have put together. The event offers concentrated information about the latest blockchain trends, ideas and innovations. And it also provides innovative startups with an excellent platform for presenting their innovative concepts. It is, of course, hard to say whether and which of the winning ideas will ultimately prevail on the market. We hope that it will be as many as possible, of course, and it has been clearly shown today that they all have the potential for this and that they all deserve it. I thank you for your attention in this moment of suspense and high expectations. I hereby give the floor back to Dan. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thanks so much. Excellent stuff. Exit left, please. Where are the two gentlemen who will wheel this beauty out off the stage? I mean, it's nice for the whole advertising, but let's move this out. Ugh, I can't do that. Okay, we have arrived at the moment where we're going to announce the winner of blockchain competition at the Blockchain Summit 2017. But first up, you met these gentlemen at the very start. They're the initiators and the founders of this competition and the summit. Can we put our hands together for the initiators, please? Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Oh, there's Ralph. Run up, Ralph. All right, real quick, guys. Our energies are so different at this point than, remember when we started this day and we're like, is it even going to work? And look, a full house and everything was beautiful. 0 being awful day, 10 being amazing, we should do this again. Just show me with your hands how you guys are feeling about the day. 0 being, we're never doing it again. I'm not sure what these thumbs up are. That's a 2, okay. 10, there we go, 10. How about you guys? Show me really quick. Will you come back to this again? 10 meaning yes, let's do this again. Amazing. All right, that's awesome. Okay. So, guys on that side, please. Can we invite the jury back up? Let's give them a hand. They've been putting a lot of work backstage. Jury back up. Come on. Clap. All right, Vasiliy, that is for me. Yes. All right, you guys stand on that side. I feel like X Factor and Dermot O'Leary on a Saturday or Sunday night, you know? All right, the 3 startups. Ooh, hold on a second. We also have the wonderful prizes. All right, 3 startups, give them a hand, give them a hand, give them a hand. Here we go. The moment of truth. Let's dip the lights, let's play the music. Here we go. 3rd place at the Blockchain Summit 2017. In 3rd place, put your hands together for Loyalty Coin. Come on over. Come on over. Come on over. Over here. Let's give him the prize. Who's going to give him a prize? There's your 3rd place. And there's your 3rd place. Fantastic. Just stand over here real quick. Stand over here real quick. Everyone gather around. Who are the photographers? Come on, photographers. Snap, snap, snap. Love this man. 3rd place gets 1 year incubation space here at Crypto Valley Lab. Amazing. You can head backstage. Thank you so much. And now, the winner of the Blockchain Summit. The winner. Ladies and gentlemen, woo. We'll leave that down there. The winner of the Blockchain Summit 2017 is Shield It! Come on, Shield It. Come on, Shield It. All right, come over here, come over here, come over here. On this side. All right.
You did a great job. Come back.
Can we have you stand up here in front, please? Paul and Hugo, come up in front, come up in front. Photographers, get ready. Get ready, get ready. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Facing the front, smile. Let's give him a hand. Excellent. Jury members, go back there. You guys stand over here. Not to be forgotten, in second place, also winning a whole year of free incubation space and amazing mentorship and support from all these guys and so many more. Let's put our hands together for Reportix. Over here, please. Let's get another photo in. Photographers, come on in. Let's get a photo. All right. If you can't see the camera can't see you. That's what they say. So, look at the camera in 3, 2, 1. Snap, 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 snap. Okay. Thank you, guys. So, I realized I forgot something really big because the massive issue about this whole thing was $100,000 US. So, if I can ask, this time I'm not going to be in the middle because I'm in the middle the whole day. The co-founders of Shield It, please come over here. Right in the middle, you take center stage. And then jury members, if you'll get around them, right in the middle, over here. Vasiliy, can I have you come up in front? All right, camera people, let's cue the music, let's choose the lights. And you guys go crazy for $100,000 US. Come on! Yeah! Amazing, well done, well done. Yes. Super stuff. Okay, so can you all please exit stage over there? Towards the left, towards the left. I want the stage back. I want the stage. This is my stage. All right. So everyone move in this direction. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so you guys know that an event like this does not just happen overnight. There is so much that is involved in this. So we're going to show up on the screen some amazing people who have made this happen. So the presenting partner, Singular DTV, let's give them a hand, please. Event partners, we've got co-founded, HDAC, IDEA, City of Zug, Brand Leadership Circle, and Dash. The industry partners are PAC, Suva, Basler, Helsana, Mougayar, and Etherisk. And the initiators are Enacta and Lakeside partners. This is where it gets really teary for me because this means that we've officially come to the end. My only request is that you share the news about this event, you tell everybody that you know, go on Twitter, use a hashtag, let's get this trending, make sure you tag all the partners, tag Lakeside partners, tag Enacta, tag me, tag everyone. We will share the love and let people know 2018, there's more of this to come. From me and the people back here, thank you so much for taking part. I hope you have a great night. Goodbye.